Wonderful. For those of you that are new to the summit, did you hear about it from a colleague or did you get the email colleagues from it? Wonderful. Well, we're very thankful that you took a Friday to come to the Art Summit. We know that as faculty and staff, you have so many things you have to do: grading, teaching, committee meetings, district meetings, college meetings, community meetings, all the meetings that happen every single day. So we appreciate you being at this meeting. And so because of that, we feed you because we know that it takes a lot for you to be here today. So we feed you breakfast, we feed you lunch as well. There's tacos from Panchitos. There's guisada, chorizo con papa, you name it, it should be back there for you. So again, my name is Eric Castillo, and I serve as Associate Vice Chancellor for Arts, Culture, and Community Impact with the Alamo Community Colleges District here there at Access. And we want to thank our friends at St. Philip's College for offering to host us today.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. We've made it to the week, right? So thankful that we made it, right? Good morning. My name is Domingo Figueroa. I'm super excited that you all have joined us, including those on Zoom. Thank you all for being here. We have developed and curated something very impactful and something very meaningful for you all today that you all can take with you as you go back to the colleges. Yesterday, we were having a meeting with our TOSI folks, and they're like, "Hey, we're starting to notice there's some momentum with the arts," and we were like, "Whoa." So, and today we're here, and so we're excited to continue that momentum, brainstorm ideas, collaborate, and hear some impactful conversation this afternoon. So, super excited that you all are here. I've always stolen the line of, HEB always says that no store does more. Well, no faculty and staff do more than those here at the Alamo Colleges. And so as a former student, my very first class, I'll never forget, was an arts appreciation class at 8 a.m. I'll never forget that experience. But um, I never saw it as an obstacle to me getting my degree. I really appreciated my time. I appreciated the Visual Arts Center over at San Antonio College. When I worked there, I would go during my free time to just recirculate my brain, get some juices going and get as creative as possible. And so, in this role, being able to work with artists like Albert Gonzalez has been absolutely phenomenal. And we'll talk about the experience that we had with that. So super excited that you're here, and I'll pass over to Mike.
All right, folks. So thank you again for being here today. We really appreciate you. As an organization, our office cares deeply for the visual, performing, and literary arts. We want to make sure that we do our best to uplift, amplify, to extend, and to create and co-create and grow things for the arts in San Antonio and across our colleges. The chancellor has a very big heart for the arts. For those of you that do not know, the chancellor cares deeply for the arts, and so Dr. De Leon, it was probably like 5, 6 years ago at Palo Alto. Dr. Flores had a summit, right? Was that correct around that time? Mm-hmm. Yeah, mm-hmm. No, that's okay. I got it. Mm-hmm. Thank you. And so, as was heard for the folks on Zoom, that when Dr. Flores was president of Palo Alto College, it was a big investment in the arts, and so he wants us to continue connecting with the arts across the colleges now for the district. And you do a monumental lift every single day, and we are full of gratitude that each and every one of you showed up and continue to show up for our students. And our responsibility is to show up for you. And so today is a convening, a gathering space for conversation, for celebration, for critical thinking, and next steps. I want to mention at the tables that there are some beautiful prints available for you to take for free. And they are by one of our former SAC students, Albert Gonzalez, who's right over there. Do you mind standing up, sir? So this wonderful design, you may have seen it on the back of T-shirts, and that is because of that man right over there, Domingo, who had the great idea of doing a shirt that was much cooler than our regular shirts. And I can say that I'll get in trouble later, but I can say that now is that we know that there's opportunities in which we see the shirts that have our logo. There's nothing on the back, and Domingo's like, let's create something fun. We're celebrating. And so the great work of his idea, working with Albert, is to create those. So they're available for you for free. Feel free to take one. There should be some extras at empty tables. Take them as well for you or your students. I'll walk through the agenda today, and then we'll kick it off with our presentations. So The next on this is going to be our Alamo Colleges Arts Commission showcase. So all 5 colleges and Access will be presenting 10 minutes. 10 minutes, presenters, 10 minutes. Each on that includes us as well, on the great things that are happening across the organization. And then, so we'll start with St. Philip's College, San Antonio College, Palo Alto College, Northwest Vista College, Lakeview, Northeast Lakeview, and then Access. And then I want to make a note that our chancellor had to fly out of town for a work last minute. So while he's not going to be here today, but because we like to be disruptors in our office and we're pretty relentless, Dr. Flores has agreed to actually host you all have heard of the Alamo Together Summits that happen once every couple times. And so we're going to host an Alamo Together Summit on the arts for the entire organization virtual. And it's going to be part of the conversations that's going to happen after the Access showcase. After the showcase, we're actually going to have you do some table talk conversations. We'll walk you through that exercise. It's what you put together there that's going to shape the virtual summit in the fall. And so it will be in the fall because many of you are off contract. We want to make sure that you're there for that. And then we'll go over a quick break, and then we'll have a fantastic panel of folks who will be later today, moderated by Domingo. And then we'll do some Q&A, and we'll do some closing remarks, and there will be lunch. What's for lunch, Domingo? It's good. There's vegan option, and there's like regular for y'all, regular meat people. But I think we're good now, ready? Okay, so we're going to shift over to our presentations. So first on our roster is, pardon me, is going to be St. Philip's College professors Nicole Geary and Josh Frilling. Will you please make your way to the front? Testing 1, 2, 3. Microphones for our Zoom friends.
Oh, that clicker. Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you all for being here today. And good morning. I'm Nicole Geary.
And I am Josh Frilling.
Wow. Okay. Lovely faces. Nice to see you. We're from St. Philip's College, where you are currently sitting on our lovely campus. All right. So here's a little bit about who we are. This is our administrative team, including our lovely chair, Mr. Vincent Hardy. Oh, yes. Let's get some applause on that, Zoom. All right. Here's our arts faculty, including Jennifer Agricola. She's our coordinator, myself, and Justin Schneider over here. Here's our drama faculty, including our chair, Mr. Hardy, as well as Clark Stevens. He's our new faculty. He's not new anymore, though. He's been here 2 years, so you can't call him new. Our music faculty.
We are hoping to add a third for the fall semester, a third full-time person.
All right. We also are wanting to show off our adjuncts because, our adjuncts do so much work. You all know it if you came from that field. Oh, my goodness. So we have pictures of some of our adjuncts that we have the pictures of, but if we didn't have a picture, we have your name up here. We want to shout you out. Thank you so much, adjuncts. You go unnoticed sometimes, but we know that you are doing a lot of the work. All right, you may have noticed that our building is under construction. There's a lot of construction going on St. Philip's campus, but Watson Fine Arts is just right over there, and it is currently under renovation to include a 26,000 square foot expansion. I want to thank Russell Calder for giving me some photographs and some text to go with this. We are getting a new HEB Black Box Theater. It's called the HEB Black Box Theater because they donated some money for us to get some part of this construction done. We're also going to get more technical construction labs for the theater, as well as updates to some of our existing facilities. So we're really excited about that. Also, because of that, we currently do not have access to our studios, our labs, our rehearsal spaces. This includes the theater, the shop, classrooms. We've been finding ways to stay creative in other parts of our campus. I know, for example, just a few weeks ago, Mr. Frilling put on a performance right here in this very room. So a little bit more about our arts program. Here are some of the courses that we actually are able to offer. And yes, we are still offering these courses in other parts of the campus. However, I will say not currently printmaking or ceramics. Those we really need our labs to do. And it's really important that we tell everybody we have to have dedicated spaces for some of these courses. We can't just do printmaking in a classroom. We can't just do ceramics outside. We have to have special dedicated places, and you guys know that. More about our drama program. These are some of the courses that we offer in our drama program. And we're really excited about building this program and making it bigger. I'll tell you more about that a little later with what we're doing even without our building. But we are expanding to include that black box theater. So of course, we are looking to expand our program.
Our music program, albeit small, is growing. And these are the courses that we offer. Of course, we've got the core courses, but we've also added to the catalog this year a fundamentals of music course. So we'd like to have that as a gateway to introduce non-majors to possibly become majors, or at least to build a foundation and maybe collaborate with the English department to do some songwriting or things like that that are interesting for the students. Next slide.
All right, so the latest in visual arts for us is we are currently about to have a Zoom lecture with the artist Lynn Tobin. This will be on Friday, May 1st. This is an example of how we are trying to get our students opportunities to engage with more visual artists in the community, as well as giving them a different way to interact with the arts that doesn't depend on our building. So things like that are some of the things that our faculty are doing in terms of outreach. I know also Jennifer Agricola also took students to the local museums for a field trip, which she had to coordinate that with some activities funds for the students to use. So that kind of thing takes some time and planning, but we're still actively trying to do things for our students instead of just crying about how we don't have our labs. And the next is drama. So I put some flyers up on the table when you first come in. Guys, we are doing a new thing for theater where we're actually going to have an outside performance of Hadestown, the teen edition. Mr. Hardy is really excited about this because he's focusing on our early high school population for this performance. And right out here on the green is where we're going to have this performance. Russell's working really hard on designing the stage for that right now. In fact, it's going to be a 2-night only run. So we're putting a lot of effort into putting that together for our students as an end of year sort of performance celebration of all the hard work of both faculty and students and staff. So really excited about that.
For music, recently in this very room, we had a concert. Again, this is our rehearsal and our performance space, and we have to fight for it with other scheduled other departments. But we are very grateful for that, and we were able to put on a concert with this particular trio. The pianist was from Chicago, the violist is from the San Antonio Philharmonic, and the cellist actually works here at District. And they put on a concert for featuring female composers, and it was very well received. We also host the SAWI. Is anybody familiar with what SAWI is? Okay, it's the San Antonio Youth Wind Ensemble. So we are the host venue for that. Rod Leonard is the conductor. I am the director. I'm responsible for that. And it's high school and middle school students and open to college students to come perform. They rehearse in here once a week on Saturdays. They put on about 5 concerts throughout the academic year. And it's one of our more popular music programs that we have. So if you're interested, we do have some upcoming concerts next Sunday, April 26th at 4 o'clock. And we've got 2 more, May 31st and June 30th. June 30th is our big one. They usually invite alumni of SAWI to come perform, and maybe a few ringers as well to fill out some empty spots. But it'll be at the Carver Community Cultural Center. And they'll be doing movie music, so things that you have heard before and some things maybe you haven't. So we encourage you to come out for that.
Let me just say, now that you found the Heritage Room, you know where it is. You know what those next 2 concerts will be. The one on the 26th and the one on the 31st, right here.
You have to get here early. It's tight. It's very small. Other things that we have done, we have dedicated performance classes that we put on every Friday. Our voice faculty, Dr. Catherine Nix, has put those on for her voice students, and it gives them a chance to perform in front of their peers in a safe, non-judgmental environment and prepare them for the juries and the end of the year performances. We also include the instrumentalists and jazz ensemble students to participate in those once a month. And we have some performances. We have Tuesday and Thursday performances coming up. They are open to students, particularly our music appreciation students. It's at the same time, it gives them an opportunity. So we kind of double dip, right? Gives them an opportunity to see a live performance and write about it, seeing their own peers performing music. We also send our students out to River City Care Center. Twice this semester, they went out there. It's a nursing home, and they performed for the residents there. Again, another low-key environment, which gives them an opportunity, especially our beginner students who may have never performed in front of an audience before, that opportunity.
That is it for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wow, St. Philip's College starting strong. Thank you so much for that presentation. And y'all, they're right at 10 minutes, so they're modeling what a tight 10 looks like for a presentation with us. So thank you all so much. I also would like to acknowledge a special guest we have in the room, Crystal Jones, the Executive Director for the City of San Antonio Department of Arts and Culture. Would you please stand up and be recognized? Thank you for being here for the city. Thank you so much. Last year, arts and culture were part of a panel for those who remember, so we appreciate the ongoing partnership, Crystal. Thank you. All right, next, here we go. San Antonio College, ready to go. Bing. There you go. If you can send toward the center.
Hi, everyone. Oh, I barely need this, but that's all right. Hi, I'm Dr. Seabrook Jones. It's so lovely to see all of you. At San Antonio College, the arts department is, as you can see, a bit of a behemoth. We have 9 different programs that include all kinds of creative, media, visual, performing arts. We stay pretty busy. All right, so I'm gonna kind of just go through and hit you with some highlights for each of these. So we have architecture. We have the only architecture program in the district, and they just specialize in being impressive. We have a lecture, seriously. We have alumni that come back and regularly give lectures. We really want students to kind of connect with our alumni, and we have a really wonderful network. We had 68 architecture students on our job shadow day. We're really strong in that area. That's something that we really value, is really connecting them with employers, connecting them with real life projects. We have faculty who are publishing in places like Texas Architect. They all stay very active in their field. Speaking of which, Dwayne Bohuslav is actually an at-large director for a national board of directors. He is the only community college architecture director in the country that's serving on a national board. So we're very proud of that. And one of the things that we really appreciate is our students at SAC consistently perform well compared with four-year university students, but also professionals. Part of our architecture club participated in this competition where they were up against four-year universities and professional architecture firms, and they won. So it's like a can drive thing, and they build visuals, and this is, I guess, meant to be Bambi, but with bean cans. So very exciting. Yeah. So yeah, no, they're very impressive. And we also have big competitions and projects. Every year they have a real life architecture project that they're given, and it's treated like you're trying to get the job. They have to have a portfolio, a presentation, and we have external judges who come in to judge all of that. Moving on to communication design. This is an area that we maybe think of more as graphic design. Our students are very strong. We have a gallery where their work is sort of constantly being rotated throughout the semester. The Addy Awards from the American Advertising Federation hosts a competition, and SAC students swept it. We got the silver, gold, best in show, and special judges awards. Again, competing again against four-year universities, just as with architecture. Our dance program, they currently, if you're interested, have a performance coming up on May 8th. They are really active. One of our favorite things to do is have guest artists come in and do workshops and special teach outs, which has been really exciting. We're really active, especially with our international students. As you guys know, international students have to take face-to-face classes, and we've really found that a lot of them are engaging in dance, and we've really been growing not just that program, but that extracurricular club as well. All right, the SAC drama program. There's so much to say, but we put on a lot of shows. Most of our programs are displaced as well. We absolutely feel your pain, St. Philip's. We've been very blessed. We worked to set up a partnership with San Pedro Playhouse. So this year, our performances, our fall and spring performances are at San Pedro Playhouse. Speaking of which, Puffs opens on Thursday and runs next weekend over at the San Pedro Playhouse. So definitely, especially if you have anyone in your life who's a Harry Potter fan, definitely make sure to come out to that really, really fun and engaging show. We love winning awards, if you haven't figured that out at SAC. And again, against four-year universities. One of my favorites was Cabaret, which won a number of awards. Most recently, we won a number of ATAC awards and were recognized in a variety of areas. And again, Peter Wendy was our most recent award winner, although I think Macbeth's going to do some good things. That was really well received last fall. And again, very active student club. We have our students going out and doing recruiting, engaging with high school students and bringing them into the program. Very active club, very active alumni. We are very, very blessed to have a really robust program, despite the fact that we don't have active theaters. Both of our theaters are closed right now, but we're making it work and they're doing amazing. We also have journalism and photojournalism, which is one of our media arts programs. We offer a number of different transfer guides and even a kind of a hybrid workforce certificate. We have students who are interning and connecting with places like KSAT, the San Antonio Express. We are also the home of the Sundial, one of the longest running student papers in the country. And just recently, they were at TIPA, where our students won 19 awards at the Texas Intercollegiate Press Association and across all categories. So we're very, very proud of all of our students' hard work and the faculty that are engaging with them. Music. Our music faculty stays so busy. We have about 20 concerts a semester. And so that includes student concerts, faculty concerts, and outside guest artists that come in. So even though we don't have a space, music will be moving back into its home in the fall. We managed a really fabulous choir and brass concert. That was one of our big ones in the fall. We're really actively working to engage and set up new transfer partnerships, including a new one in commercial and digital music. And then, like I said, we stay pretty busy. We've got students competing at the National Association of Teachers in Singing, so they're going out and doing really successfully in those areas. Summer opera workshops, student jazz ensembles. We actually most recently performed at the Mosaic fundraiser at the Whitty, as well as the district's 80th anniversary. And actually, there was a really great, was the chamber ensemble, was that earlier this week? Yeah, sorry, we have, usually it feels like one concert a week, so. So that was, yeah, the top right. That was an excellent, excellent experimental, really cool stuff that they're doing. We're also blessed to have music business. So if you are a fan of rock and roll on Thursday, this Thursday's a busy day. We've got the opening of our visual arts exhibit, which I'll get to. We've got the opening of Puffs, and we've got Fred Stock. So we have, as you can see, this is one of our workforce programs that does quite a bit with kind of the behind the scenes of audio and music production. Fred Stock is on Thursday. This is an official fiesta event where we host, I believe the headliner this year is Rick Trevino. And we've got, it's going to be a really exciting show. It's open to everybody, and it's April 23rd from 2 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Please try to come out. We had an absolute blast last year, and that's been going on for many, many years, but it's really kind of scaled up in recent years. SAC is also the home of, we have our own radio station and our own television station that we serve for the city. So TVSA, if you guys ever have anything that you would like to air, a concert, some sort of event, let us know. We definitely want to help support our other Alamo College programs because we have our own TV station and we love filling it with Alamo content. We also have KSYM, which is your only alternative for radio in San Antonio. That is student-run. And lots of student engagement there. And again, we have a number of certificates and degrees in our radio, television, and film program. Moving on to visual arts, as I mentioned, this coming Thursday, we have our juried student art exhibition. I love it. I'm housed in the visual arts building, and every day there's just new art going up and sculpture. And I know many of you, when you go into those student gallery spaces, it's so exciting to see the creativity and the excellence. We also host the Art History Symposium. For those of you who might be interested, we'd really love to scale that up to be something that engages the entire district. But that was yesterday. We had our Art History Symposium where students were presenting their original research. We really are embracing undergraduate research in this department as well. And we also were happy to host Vincent Valdez, the college's current artist in residence here at Alamo. And we're very big into study abroad, especially in the visual arts. So we currently have trips going to Italy and to South Korea. We're also working, now that it reminds me, we're going to be setting up an architecture trip to Japan. So again, really engaged faculty. If you have students for next year who are interested in a study abroad trip around the visual arts, please be sure to reach out to us. Here are the names of all of our leads if you want anyone to connect with or need more information. And that is 9.5 minutes. So let's go.
Dr. Jones, if you need a cultural attaché for Japan, let me know. I would love to be there. Thank you so much, San Antonio College. This is a wealth of great things. Thank you so much. Next, we have, that's the wrong paper. Next, we have Palo Alto College, but it is Dr. Rosalinda Ortiz. Yes, wonderful. Round of applause, round of applause. Would you mind standing a little closer so that
Good morning, everyone. Can I have our faculty from Palo Alto College please stand up and be recognized? I know we also have a faculty member on Zoom. We are a small but mighty department. So there's anywhere from one person in a particular unit all the way up to 3. So they do a lot of lifting, and we also rely heavily on our adjunct faculty to really help us with that load. So I just want to recognize our faculty because they are integral to making all of this happen. Slide. Oh, slide to myself. So I'm going to start with our drama department. We have, this year, we've done Camila La Mágica, and we are currently running A Midsummer Night's Dream. This week is probably the ending of the show. We have a black box and auditorium. I know all of y'all are under construction, but we've had the best facility, and a lot of times some of your colleges come over to us, and we're happy to host you as well. We have one act play. I know we've co-hosted with SAC this year for those workshops. So those partnerships are really strong and integral to the success of Alamo Colleges, but to both of our institutions. We are developing cross-cultural projects within our Fine and Performing Arts Department. And we're also this year started a play adaptation to the book Bella Goes to Tamale with one of our adjunct instructors, Benito Lara Villarreal. So our adjuncts are strong, our full-time faculty are strong, and they lift so much for the whole drama department. Nick is a faculty of 1 in the drama department. So thank you, Nick. Our fine arts department, they are a faculty of 3 full-time. We have student learning resources. We have 2 gallery spaces. We have local artists that come, about 4 per year. We offer student exhibition. The competition should be coming in with the next couple of weeks, and so they're setting up the gallery right now. We also have our annual juried exhibition. We offer high schools to come and exhibit there on our space, especially on the south side. We have a lovely gallery. We have a great lab tech that really helps us. Photography has finally come back after a few semesters of not making, so we're really glad that we were able to offer that on a Friday, no less. And our studio courses are really going strong. And you can see some of the pictures that we have from this year. Our music. So we have choir, we have jazz, and we've added mariachi. So we have recitals and lunch series for our ensembles, but also for our solo private lesson students throughout the semesters. We also have added a percussion class this semester and last semester, so it's really going strong, and that's added to our drum line for our marching mariachi. We have collaborations with area schools. You can see Ms. Edlin de Oliveira. She partnered with Southwest Legacy with her student is now the director at Legacy. So it was a full circle moment when he was able to come back and perform all together with our choir singers. And she's been doing an awesome job at recruiting at different schools to try to build up our choir program, because some things, they ebb and flow with all of our courses. So they've really done a good job of trying to bring the students from the high schools to college to really get a taste of what it's like and participate. And then currently today, one of our faculty members, Armin Marmolejo, he's not here because he is hosting a jazz festival. And it's a record-breaking 18 high schools that are there right now currently doing their thing. So it's a really amazing program that we're doing. Again, they're all kind of party of one, really leading these efforts. So we had to do things a little bit different, as the two schools before me have talked about. We have to find creative ways to recruit students, bring our students to campus, and really build our classes. And it's been a little bit difficult in dance. So what we've done is we've focused on our student organization. So Bo Pang, while she has been and still is an adjunct instructor in dance, we have moved her into a college events coordinator for dance so she can be here full time. And she's been working on 3 clubs: contemporary, cheer dance, and ballet folklorico, which have really taken off this year. And you can see all of the various performances that we go in. When they ask us, we jump in, we run, sending everybody in different directions. But the visibility of arts and dance to the community and to the college hopefully will attract students to register for our classes. So we've been having a really big push for the dance program in all of its variations at PAC. Another one that we've brought and has really grown and gotten strong this past year is our mariachi program. While it had not been a class, we brought it back as a class because we've recruited through the club. So now we have actually 2 classes of mariachi: mariachi palomino, mariachi potrillo, that's like little horse. And so we got new trajes, we've fundraised, and because we don't have a lot of money in our accounts, we've been having to pivot and find other ways, because we know our operational budgets will either stay the same or lessen. So how do we get donations? How do we charge for our performances so that we can sustain our program and really take our students to competitions, to be visible, to feed them, for all of their work that they do for our campus and our community. You can see all of the things that we're doing. Yesterday, we performed at 2 events back to back, our mariachi. We've got Pack Fest next week, another fiesta event that we have. We have the Flambeau Parade that we will be participating in. So we are just busy lifting each other up. Our future projects. So we want to, and like it has been mentioned, develop more international collaboration, study abroad, COIL, etc. So I will be kind of helping or taking a second leg to Gwangju with Russ and Mr. Cantu to develop partnerships for our PAC, Fine and Performing Arts Department, and CTE and things like that. So we'll be going over the summer, and that'll be my first time to that area. So I'm excited about that. We want to develop youth summer camps for K through 12 academies, particular to maybe a choir or a drama or an art camp, things like that over the summer where we can engage students while they're on their vacation. We want to develop solo mariachi and ensemble contest, similar to the UIL events that are currently happening. We are, for the first time, going to compete in Mariachi Spectacular this summer in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This was the first, and then we just competed in December at the, what do I want to call it? The one at the Lila Cockrell. mariachi extravaganza. Sorry, mariachi extravaganza. We took both of our groups, and we were the only community college competing against universities. And when we go to Albuquerque, from the list, we're the only community college bringing groups. So we are making a name for ourselves slowly but surely, but we are making a splash, and we're so proud of our groups and all the work that they've done. And then we're also planning in 2027 the National Memorial Day Parade. We've already been invited. We got invited 2 years ago, but we couldn't afford to go. So they invited us again. So we are making the big effort to go to Memorial Day in Washington, D.C. for next May, and we're already starting fundraisers. So we will have Serenata para las Madres on May the 6th. We also have the Master Singers that we're partnering with for the Theatrical Serenade 2 on May the 3rd. So y'all are all invited to that. The Master Singers is a free event. Serenata, it's a $10, but it's helping us raise money for our trip. And I want to leave us with just a quick snippet of, I don't know how many minutes we have left, but for the rest of those minutes, we're going to watch our mariachi play. How many minutes do I have?
So if you want to see the rest of that, you got to go to the Serenata para las Madres on May the 6th at 7 p.m. So please, that was just a teaser, y'all. You're in for a show. Congratulations. This is fantastic. This is fantastic. 3 outstanding colleges. We know we have 2 more to go. Next, we have Northwest Vista College, and it's Professors Delgado, Lopez, and Smith, correct? Yes, wonderful. There we go.
All right, so we are from Northwest Vista College. Hi, my name is Brittany Lopez, and I teach in the dance program over at Northwest Vista. And I'm also the director of the Repertory Dance Ensemble, which is our student dance company. This is our current semester's company, spring 2026, at 18 members. From COVID, just to give you some context, we were down to 3. And so we have built back and we made it work online. And we are back to 18 and growing. And I'm also very proud to say we have 3 boys, which is a huge deal in dance. So yay. Every spring semester, we get to go to the American College Dance Association Conference, which is a big national conference where all of the major universities in our region attend, and we get to take class and present work and get feedback from adjudicators on our choreographies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This year, it was hosted at the University of North Texas in Denton. So this was over spring break, and we got to go. I got to take 9 students from the company. And we spent a wonderful 4 to 5 days just dancing from like 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. literally. So we were exhausted when we got back, but it was a really wonderful experience. They get to see what is happening at all of the universities in our region, which is several states. And they get inspired to maybe transfer to other places that they weren't thinking about, and they get to network and talk to all kinds of different people. It's a really great way for them to grow. And we also get really professional level feedback from working professionals in our field on our choreographies and on our performances, which is a good experience for the students as well. These are just some of the things that we have done this semester specifically. We've established a new partnership with the Gardendale Early Learning Program, which is a pre-K 4SA school. And so every semester, for the last maybe year and a half, we've been going and giving a short little performance to the second graders at the school. And this year, they gave us cards that they made in class. We've also taken some questions from them, and we've gone into classrooms to speak to them. Last year, we did a special project around literacy. So it's been a really fun program to grow. This is an image from our concert, Dance at Vista, from last semester, which we sort of our culminating project at the end of every semester. We do a lot, we go out a lot, we try to connect to other students on campus, to our community, and always show them that dance is for everybody, right? So the remaining things that we have, well, okay, never mind, I'll do that later. So something that I've developed over the last several years is our dance workshop series. So this has evolved in a number of ways, but what it is now most recently is where we bring in local guest artists to teach one-day workshops to supplement our lecture classes and some of our other technique classes, so they get real-world experience from people who are here in San Antonio making work and a career as a dance artist in whatever way that might be. So this semester we had a Bollywood dance workshop. We brought in somebody who talked to us about injury prevention, specifically for ballet dance training. We bring in Kevin, who does our breaking classes, and I've worked with him for probably like 10 years now. We've done capoeira, country western line dance, hip hop, and many other things over the years, and it's been really fun to watch this evolve and grow as well. Another program I'm particularly proud of is our Alumni Guest Artist Program. I came up with this idea probably in 2018, and working together with our other faculty, Jane King, we established it officially in the spring of 2019. And every spring semester, we bring in an alumni who is doing amazing things to work with our student dance company and teach some classes during the week that they are here. And I'm very proud of that for a number of reasons. Again, our students get to work with professionals, get to network, but they also get to see that a career as a dance artist is possible because we also pay them to come in and set work and teach classes. And this year we are bringing in Juan Pablo, who's a good friend of mine. We kind of just missed each other because I was a student at Northwest Vista many years ago as well, and he was just behind me, so it's fun to kind of come full circle that way. Passing it on.
In the music program, every year the Texas two-year college teachers, is this working? Is this thing on? Okay, great. So every year the Texas two-year college teachers association holds auditions for all-state choir. And this year we had 12 students that were accepted into this all-state choir. And that's a new high for us at our college, and we're very proud of them. And they represented NVC at the 2026 Texas Music Educators Association convention, which is held here in San Antonio. And so they worked alongside with some of the state's top two-year college vocalists for a performance on February 14th. I'm going to change the slide now. All right. So the South Texas chapter of the National Association of Teachers of Singing held student auditions at the Austin Community College on March 28th. And 9 singers were represented NVC there, and we earned 1 semifinalist recognition and 5 finalist placements there. And of those people, they were 3 finalists were selected for the national competition. So the Texoma region of NATS spans a wide area across Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and 6 active chapters in Dallas, Fort Worth, Greater Houston, Oklahoma, the Panhandle, Rio Grande, and South Texas. So we're wishing them the best of luck when to be selected to perform in July, which will also be in San Antonio. The Nats National Convention will be in San Antonio this year. What luck! So, yeah, and also we had a couple of students from our jazz ensemble placed in the. I'm not good with my acronyms here. Let's see. The Texas Community College Band Directors Association All-State Jazz Ensemble. That was also back in February. So that was for saxophone and trumpet. So for this group, this jazz ensemble, there's only 16 people that are allowed to participate. So since we had 2, that was, I thought a pretty good representation. And we had some good music transfers, 5 to UTSA, and 2 were actually not to Texas State University, but they were to the Butler School of Music at UT Austin. So that was, yeah, that that was a real surprise. So that's up 200%. You know, that's right. Well, thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. My name is Esteban Delgado. I teach fine arts at Vista. I'm also serving as our coordinator. I'm going to be presenting drama. So this spring semester, we opened with Avenue Q. If you can tell, the show are puppets. But it isn't kid friendly. We had disclaimers of don't bring your kids, puppet nudity. But they did a great job. Our director, technical director, built our set. He did an amazing job. There's some images of his work. And then this final weekend is the last weekend to see our current show, Bus Stop, written by William Ing in 1955. This is in our black box, so everything is in one space, and our faculty and students do an amazing job. And there's another shot of our black box. Who's here? He directed Avenue Q, and then we invited Tim Hedgepeth to direct this play. All right, on to arts. So this was our winner for our Fiesta design. We had a contest where students can apply, make designs, and this is the one that was selected. Priscilla Perez created a design. I believe she's not an art student, so it's great to see students who have interest in art, but not maybe being a pre-major, still being active and participating. So it's good to show that all students are inclusive in the arts, not just our art students. NVC faculty were invited to exhibit our work at Texas A&M Keensville at Ben Bailey Art Gallery. So we had an exhibit in the fall. So these are some of our faculty's work. NVC Art Club has been pretty active. We have 4 advisors. We meet every week, and we probably average about 20 to 30 students every meeting. Space is kind of our challenge, which is a good problem to have. This is at our involvement fair. One thing that we started this semester was focusing on an interdisciplinary programming that involves everybody in fine arts, and the arts, I should say. So we focused on an art movement, which is Dada. And so we had this movement or this event called NVC Does Dada, where students, families, faculty, staff can come on a Saturday and make art focused on the art movement Dada. And next year, we're going to be focusing on the Renaissance. And also this involved dance as well. Every semester we host Cosmic Art Night. So this is also a collaboration between art and dance. Students can come, faculty, staff, students can bring family and friends just to make art under UV light. This is a project that I'm really excited about. This is a collaboration between one of our alumni, Alyssa Raymond, who's in the center picture on the left. She is a local artist who does murals and commissions, and so she approached us to do this project with St. PJ's Children's Home. And so what we're doing is we invited artists to apply and submit proposals so that they get real life experience on applying and creating proposals and getting feedback. Well, these are the 5 students that were selected to create the 6 paintings, and they're going to be getting a stipend for their paintings, and that was given by Friends of the Art donations. So we have an organization on campus that helps us with things like this. And so this is going to be installed in May at the Children's Home. And then Diana Kersey is leading her Ceramics 2 students in another real life world work experience. Her class is creating a mural using clay for the front of our building, just as a welcoming art statement. And so this is kind of the image of the ceramic piece that's going to be installed on one of our walls. And then a lot of our students get to participate in things like college night at SAMA and other museums so that they can connect, network, and also enjoy artwork with each other. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Northwest Vista College. That was fantastic. Dr. Kersey, Professor Kersey, that's incredible. That's incredible. Excited to see that. Yeah. Well, please invite us when it is. We'd love to see that. Thank you. Second to last, before access, we have Northeast Lakeview College. Professor Davis, are you? There you are. Welcome to the stage. Thank you so much.
Hi, good morning. This has been amazing. You guys are awesome across the board. So, yeah, my name is Caroline Davis. I'm a professor of fine arts at Northeast Lakeview College. And this is basically our department. We are mid but mighty in terms of size, I think. We've got 4 full-time visual art faculty. We have 1 full-time theater faculty that holds down that, and we have 1 full-time music faculty that holds down all of that. So we are busy all the time. Yeah, so here we go. Our assistant professor, Judah Leggett, department chair, is here today, and she is a wonderful part of that team that keeps us moving forward and growing. And here are some of the things that we're doing in addition to running all of our programs as well. The Dean Service Award, Carl Fry, he's up here in front, and an amazing faculty member to work with. Then, of course, we have our theater professor, Associate Professor Lisa Freechley, who was a Minnie Stevens Piper, I always mix that up, nominee for our campus. And then, of course, me. I'm over there getting my NISOT award on. So, yeah, thank you. We also have students who are killing it. So one of our students who participated in the Fiesta poster design, Eva Davidson, is actually the winner of that. And it's a pretty big deal, you know, I'm going to say. They are absolutely amazing. And we're super proud of them. So keep an eye out for that. And I do think they're going to be making copies of this poster. I hope so that we can put them up in various schools and sort of keep track of the winners every year with our new poster designs. We are busy in terms of our course offerings. I think most of our colleges are still able to run studios that are filling almost completely. We're between 90 and 98% fill rate at all times in all of our classes. So, you know, we feel like we're trying to push back sometimes against this idea that that the arts aren't desperately needed and desired by students, and that somehow we have to justify our existence, when in fact that's not the case. We struggle with budgets, we struggle with external factors, but not with students and participation. So yeah. We are starting a new course. We're adding drawing one, digital drawing one. So Carl will be heading that in the fall. It's nice to be able to expand into other media. And we need growth is what we need. We need growth space. We need that commitment from above us to keep doing that. I just have to say, Vincent Valdez, that was amazing. He came out twice to give lectures. It was full both times. And it just was a really great experience for our students to be able to listen to an artist who has been out and around and still has roots in a place and a space that they know. And yeah, that I think that having this kind of artist residency, if you will, every year is going to be amazing for everybody. I would love for those residents to also get involved in jurying student shows and, you know, talking to students more in smaller groups even. I think that would be great. James Miller and Vincent Valdez sat with Dr. Flores and did a podcast together. I was impressed about this. So I think that was really amazing. And then, of course, Carl, who is always busy, always moving, always shaking, always making. He had a one-man show in our gallery this fall. Spring. We're in the spring. Jeez Louise, this year's been crazy. And it was amazing as always. I mean, when I say we were packed, that we were shoved into that gallery and people were listening to every word, and he had an ambitious level of work on every wall. So Jasmine Graybill and James Miller and Carl all worked to get that show up and running, and then down rehabbed the gallery again, and our student show is coming up. Let's see, going forward. No. All right, cool. So that is something that I would like to invite everybody with. I know we're sort of on the far side of the city. We're at 35 and 1604, but we are having a student show May the 7th at 5 to 6:30, and that's the opening. And the student work is just, they're really awesome. So what about our music offerings? Right now, we are not offering music performance stuff. So that's been a little tough. But we still do have music appreciation and American music. So we're still working through the core, and hopefully at some point our music program will be back up. I will also have to say that both our performing arts and our music students are extremely active. So Kathy Mayer is working with students who are doing performances and that sort of thing, you know, while we don't have an official music department. Our performing arts department, pop-up performances, karaoke parties, music showcase, trunk or treat, fall review, all of these things are still going on, and they're all driven by students and faculty. Finally, the theater department, straight up, our drama courses are nice and healthy, even with one faculty member. We rotate through these as we can. There is a performing arts program with workshops, improvs, dance, etc. We have our last show coming up. Well, it's not our last show. We have our last performance of Stop Kiss coming up this weekend, and it is a great show, a great production. So April 17th, 18th, and 19th, these are the times, and yeah, come and see it. It's really great. We have been in a situation that a lot of you guys have talked about. Our Impact building, the Performing Arts building, was shut down for, it felt like 2 years. It was 2 years. It was indeed. I don't know what semester we're in, but I had that right, 2 years. And so we were using a rehearsal hall that is no longer used because of our music program as a black box for performances and showcases during that time. And now, and of course, we had lost gallery access at that time. So now that's all reopened. This is the lobby area. This is our auditorium. We don't have a shot of our gallery. We'll have to put that in next year. But it's really great. These annual performances are really great. So yeah, I mean, I'm the last person up, and so I want to say these are really trying times, both financially and, you know, outward facing toward oftentimes we feel like communities that don't see what we do financially and in every other way, why the arts are really, really not icing on the cake at all. They are the cake. The bread, whatever, the staff of life, I don't know. But they contribute financially to every aspect of San Antonio. And I'm just really proud that this is what I've done for a career. And that I get to work with these students every day and work with you guys. So thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
And Domingo, let's get you a mic, sir. You have a mic? Okay. All right. So thank you so much for the incredible work at Lakeview. This was exciting. Yeah, 5 colleges doing many incredible things across our region. This is why we feel so honored to be connected to the arts, knowing that we are supporting the exceptional work that's being done. So we're not here trying to reinvent any wheel. We're just trying to uplift and amplify. And so my office shifted a little bit about 4 years ago. We're in Texas, you know why. And so because of that, we've been able to tap into my art history background, which is pretty exciting work. So being able to reconnect on this. And so you get to hear from us now. I don't know why I did a spin. You get to hear from us now.
Hello.
So thank you. Yeah, right. Here we go. Eric Castillo, Associate Vice Chancellor for Arts, Culture, and Community Impact.
Domingo Figueroa, Program Manager for the Arts, Culture, and Community Impact.
And so we'll talk a little bit about who we are first, so you get a sense of what our office is about, and we'll talk about the work we're doing. So I'll start with our blue. Our vision is by humanizing the Alamo Community Colleges ecosystem, everyone flourishes, collaboration thrives, and we live in a more abundant, compassionate environment. For us, this is the work that we do. We keep community in everything that we do, including ACCD, to ensure that we're always amplifying the work of our community.
And so if you have your badge with you, you'll automatically see that our core values as a district, the very first one is students first. And that's what you'll see at Access. But with our office, we want to care for you all. We put you all at the heart of everything we do. As I mentioned earlier, I was a student of the Alamo Colleges many moons ago, but I can promise you that compared to UTSA and Texas A&M San Antonio, I had no better experience with faculty and staff than the Alamo Colleges. And the Alamo Colleges really laid down a strong foundation for me to wherever I'm going in life. Sometimes I don't know, but I'm super appreciative. And the work that we get to do is give back to you all as much as we can. And so, like I said, everything that we do is embedded in our core values, you know, mutual flourishing, the ethic of reciprocity, humanizing spaces, community centeredness, and of course, wholeness and connection.
And so our mission is to humanize the ecosystem and create greater sense of community, solidarity, and connection. I do apologize. I need to keep looking at my phone because the panelists are arriving and they're texting me. So thank you for your understanding. For the next slide, this is exciting, folks. Artists in residence for the Alamo Community Colleges District. This started, there's been many conversations that have taken place across the colleges, individually, among folks. This residency started over tea. We purchased an artwork of Vincent Valdez, and in a great conversation, we are like, hey, do you want to be an artist in residence? He's like, yeah. And it was that easy, but so much groundwork that was being done because he's heard about the work that's being done at the 5 colleges and said, I want to be a part of this. So he is our inaugural artist in residence. You can see he was at Northwest Vista College there. This was Palo Alto College, Northeast Lakeview. Was that SAC, right? San Antonio College. Studio visits. He will be here in about 12 minutes, getting ready to prepare for our summit. And then the great thing is that we are already planning our artist residency application for next year. This first one was just sort of grassroots conversation, just kind of bubbled up. Now we're going to be more methodical, more formal with the process.
And one of the cool things I will add really quick is also seeing y'all's experience with it. Like, absolutely, the students loved it, but seeing the faculty pack the rooms as well, that was absolutely phenomenal to experience. Yes. So we recently held our National Day of Collective Healing, moderated by Dr. Castillo, who did such a wonderful job with Joy Harjo and Ada Limon. And we brought in, what was her name? Lashane, she gave such a beautiful performance. And so we wanted to have as many elements of the arts as possible. She delivered a phenomenal performance. And of course, our poets, they gave such wise words and meaningful messages. And so this was our 5th inaugural. Dr. Castillo has been leading this effort since he got to the Alamo Colleges, and it's been such a wonderful event. And we are already working very, very hard on our 6th. We started working on the 6th while we were still planning the 5th. So we have something that we're curating together that we'll definitely invite you all out to.
Absolutely. So you'll see our connection to the performing arts, literary arts, the visual arts, wanting to ensure we cover a broad range of the arts. And the next slide. So Arts Commission, so she just walked into the room.
Literally.
Maestra Veronica Castillo, for the 80th anniversary, we were able to work with her and Rosie on this beautiful Árbol de la Vida, Revolución de la Educación. It's our 80th anniversary project commemorating the fantastic work that's being done. And we had faculty and staff and students from across the organization actually help to create this beautiful sculpture. So thank you all for those who were part of it. I know that Professor Bauer was part of it, Dr. De Leon was part of it, and students from across. We appreciate you for that. And this was a project that was done for, God Almighty, we did this. It took a year-long project, but it was worth the work.
So our next project is with Albert Gonzalez.
Woo.
This was an idea that just came about one Tuesday morning. We were talking about the 80th planning and all that. And I was just like, why don't we do something different? Let's disrupt the norm. Let's do something. And actually, the idea came from Albert's website. I was checking it out, and he has this cool, I would say clothing, or he had a cool T-shirt that inspired this idea. I was like, we got to do something different. And so thank you for allowing me to bring this to the table. And we ran with it, and it's been a phenomenal experience. And those prints are also signed by him, super duper limited edition. It was only 300. So thank you, Albert, for working with us on that.
Yes, and they are on the table for you to take. I just realized that I'm wearing the same Guayabera in all those slides, and I almost wore that today. So, oh my God, I promise you I have more than one Guayabera. Okay. Next slide. So as part of the 80th anniversary for the colleges, we work on partnering with the colleges as well. So we partner with St. Philip's College, we partner with San Antonio College on performing, musical arts. We really want to bring students into the fold. We do our best to always integrate and enmesh our students into the work that we do. And this was really one great experience, and the employees loved this experience. So thank you all so much, San Antonio College and PAC, for your partnership. I'm sorry, St. Philip's. PAC is in the next slide.
Yes, so Palo Alto College is our next slide. And thank you, Bo Pang, for the incredible performance by the Palo Alto College Ballet Florico group. Absolutely wonderful. I mean, this shot right here is just so beautiful. And I also do want to shout out Dr. Castillo, because he worked to ensure that all the student organizations that we're working with do get compensated. We want to make sure that they're being provided for the service that they're giving. Absolutely. And so
no free labor. You get paid for doing stuff, you know?
Exactly. And so we were excited. We definitely learned how to work the process. I will say that. But we're willing to do it. We absolutely want to ensure that we're also providing you all the incredible love that you're providing us. So amazing performance, hands down.
So exciting things. Our very first exhibit. So if you've been to Access or District DSO, whatever you call it, it used to be a cyber cafe. There was nothing cyber or cafe about it. We asked, they said, let's turn this into a gallery. So they gave us half of the space. So yeah, very generous, right? So exciting for them. So our first show, Sacred and Scene, rolled out 2025. Thank you to St. Philip's College for your lending us some of the artwork. Our second show, so we actually also make use of the second floor. We were calling it a gallery now. We just continue to sort of expand our scope and reach. And the second floor near Tosi, the meeting rooms at Access, we have a secondary gallery, Rascuache Radiance, which was worked by Cruz Ortiz. And we also have up there as well for spring, Alamo Together Student Fiesta posters. Now, the exciting thing about this is that the Fiesta Commission reached out to us saying, hey, we want the Alamo Colleges to design the next Fiesta poster. So we worked with the commission. Thank you all so much for doing this over the summer with your students. And so there is competitions at each college. A finalist from each college was represented. And Eva was selected for the poster competition. We just hung up the show we collected all the posters. It's up on the second floor. We're going to send you information to send to your students. All 14 posters of those who were submitted were there. We printed them out. We got them up. So y'all have incredibly talented students, right?
No,
Fantastic.
absolutely. And it's because of you all. And, with the Made by You, there's repeat visitors. I mean, they love going to go see it. I was talking to one of the vice chancellors, and she just was like, wow, we have such talent here at the Alamo Colleges. And we really do. And I know Dr. Flores likes to say, UTSA, we can, we have better faculty here, and I absolutely believe that. And so, it shows, people are coming to see that. And then the students, absolutely. I saw an employee yesterday really, really looking and analyzing the students' work and just giving so many compliments to the incredible work that they're doing. And again, that's because of you.
Absolutely. And all of the students that submitted were sharing money that was given from the Foundation for Scholarships. And then Eva also received a scholarship. If you can go back one quick second. So La Linea Fall 2026, that is a show by Vincent Valdez. It's a mixture of brand new, never seen before artwork, some sculpture he's been working and dabbling with, and some of his more prominent pieces as well. That's going to go up in fall, August 2026. This is going to be a huge deal, folks. So we're going to make sure we invite you all, the community leaders as well. And I'm gonna mention this. So we work with cold fire signs to hang up our wall text, and it turns out we actually were hanging up Vincent Valdez's work of Flaco Jimenez, and the guy's like, "Do you have any work of Flaco?" We're like, "We actually do." He's like, "Flaco's my dad." Long story short, we're gonna have a show this summer of Flaco Jimenez. Accordions, Grammy, shirts, photos at Access. This just came because of conversation, because of building relationship with community partners. So that is another tremendous opportunity for us. So sometimes things just work out very well. We appreciate that.
That literally just happened Tuesday. So that's breaking news.
Breaking
First
news.
to hear.
Okay, we'll move pretty quickly because we're about our minute. Literary arts, we partnered actually in this room for Get Lit. We partnered with the San Antonio Book Festival, bringing authors. We've had Michelle Norris from MSNBC, Cheryl Thompson from NPR, and we've had, a whole bunch of different authors across the board. And this has been a phenomenal experience. She wrote about the missing Tuskegee Airmen.
And then, so as of January this year, our office became stewards of the San Antonio Peace Center. And so we recently had a convening back in March, late March, of inviting community members, educators, local leaders to converse about what the next steps are. And so right now we're in the current process of developing an advisory council. But in addition to that, one of the first initiatives of the Peace Center in our stewardship is going to be a Weave grant. And so we received about a $250,000 grant, so that way we can help fund local community members who are doing Weave work out in our San Antonio community. And so we're going to have an application process for that, and it's going to open up very, very soon. But our advisory council, which is in the process of developing, is going to help us usher that in for the new year. And I believe there was an email that went out, a press release too.
Yes, a press release just went out for this grant. So the whole idea for this is that we look to communities, to small nonprofits, to help repair the social fabric of our community. We are in divisive times right now as a society, and the Weave Social Impact Project brings people together in conversation. And so we're excited to be partnering. This is available for individuals and small nonprofits as well. This is a little bit of what we do and who we are, and we ran through that. But thank you so much for listening. This is it, right?
This is it. Yeah.
Us.
10 minutes.
All right. Thank you. So I will say we continue to be inspired by all of you. Hence why the work we get to do is because we get to look to each one of you, and the work you're doing just continues to pour into us. So the next piece of this event today is going to be table talk conversations. For those of you that may have walked in a little bit after I made this announcement, our chancellor was not able to make it today. He had to travel out of town for work. And so Domingo and I were like, well, we still want our arts faculty and staff to have audience with the chancellor. So we have worked with him, and he agreed to host, you've all heard of it before, the Alamo Together Summits that take place all across the district. We are going to host an Alamo Together Summit, a virtual summit in November of 2026, all about the arts. And so typically TOSI and the chancellor's office and other departments will partner up to develop what the conversation is going to look like. Today, you all get to shape what that conversation is going to look like in November. You're probably wondering why we're doing in November. It's so far away, but we want you there, and y'all are off contract in the summer. We're going to miss you. And so we want to make sure that your voice is going to be present for that. So we have some documents. Domingo, could I have your help with passing them out, please, sir? So thank you so much. So the purpose of this is going to be a conversation. There's some anchored questions that we're asking you to address as a table that just kind of get the conversation flowing. The questions don't have to be specifically answered, but the whole idea is that you start to spark a conversation. And then from there, you're going to work on one or two key themes your table has talked about, one particular question that your table would like to have addressed at the summit, and then one big idea or one big bold opportunity. Something blue sky. Domingo and I always do these conversations. We just say nothing's off limits. What do we want to try and achieve? And so we'll have these papers coming around your way. We will ask for somebody to be a note taker and then someone to report out. And so after that, we're going to give probably like 10, 15 minutes, and then we're going to ask for a report out per table. And then we have, so as an incentive for those of you that are more reticent or reluctant, we have gifts for you if you are the note taker or if you're going to be the reporter. So please step up. There's 5. Would you mind take one, pass it down, please? Okay, and they have theirs. No, they're moving to the. So it is 10:30. So the agenda. So maybe just you have 15 minutes, folks. 15. All right, folks, if you want to put a bow on your conversations and rejoin the group, we are going to get started with our report outs. All right, folks. Thank you so much. Sounds like this was some fun and engaging conversation. So, as we return back to a group, the idea was to talk about themes, big bold ideas, and questions that you'd like to propose to for the Alamo Together Virtual Summit in November. So, if I could bring everybody back, welcome to the group, folks. So, thank you so much. Who would like to? Okay, all right. There we go. And so we will ask that you all use the mics for our Zoom friends as well. Who's going to be our? There we go, Professor Gary.
Hello. Hi. I'm Nicole Geary, and I'm speaking for our table because Stephanie, the note taker, volunteered me as the reporter. So I think you want me to go from the back of the page first? Okay. So we talked a lot, and one of our takeaways is that arts require money, support, and an audience. And the district needs to collaborate more. And when we say collaborate more, we mean locally at the college level. Our colleges need to collaborate more. So we came away with that conversation based on that. We could combine choirs. We could share artworks among our galleries, have a traveling student show. have a local artist jury it. We could have a band ensemble, a Alamo Colleges Music Fest, which Steph called our local Woodstock. She thought that was cute. All right, so stuff like that could happen a lot more because we see some of us are thriving and some of us are struggling. And how do we get that collaboration to happen so that we're all doing well? Then our summit question, how do you switch from talk to action? How do we stop saying, I support the arts and start doing supporting the arts? I like that. Okay. That's where we got because we had talked so much we didn't get to question 2.
And we'll give you a couple more minutes if you want, as we're moving to the other tables, if you want to fill out the paper, we'll come back to your paper. Wonderful. Who would like to go next? All right.
I'll come to you. We're doing this.
Hello. Good to see you, everyone. Yes, I'm Jose de Hoyos. I'm the drama faculty at Northwest Vista, and the questions that we answered. What does the arts ecosystem in San Antonio need most right now? We need support for academic freedom. Money is always a great thing. Always more district support and equitable education, right? And cross-college collaboration. What support systems would help us arts faculty and department grow stronger and serve our students better for the community? Offerings and availability, faculty add permanent positions, maintain faculty and what? And faculty lines. Thank you. Where do you see the greatest opportunity for collaboration between colleges, artists, and community organizations? More arts summits type things like this, maybe arts summit pedagogy, groups doing workshop breakout sessions, some socials. That'd be nice. If the Alamo Together Summit could address one bold question about the future of arts, culture, community impact, what should it be? Right now, political impact, censorship, academic freedom. What kind of support and protection and content for students? That's what we got.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Who's the note taker?
Hi again. Hi. Yes, 100%. So far, I am right there behind each person that stood up and represented. Nicole, 100%. And 100% on the academic freedom and protections issue too. I think the arts are facing a specific problem in this regard with everything that we do, from performing arts to what we teach in the classroom, being always a point of contention. That's what art is. That's the human experience. So I want to give you guys a high five for that one. So we kind of started off with number 4 as our thing. If we could address one bold question, for the future of the arts, what would that question entail? And I think what we have to do, and I don't know how we get better at this because I feel like we do a good job of this, but we have to be able to emphasize that the arts education becomes more and more important as we realize that skill-based, hands-on, critical making, critical thinking, human-driven work that needs to be done is what we do at our core. That's what we do. And without the ability to teach that at a college level to our adult students and burgeoning adults, then there's just cogs in a wheel. And this is a problem because when you talk to the business community and you talk to people outside of arts education, you talk to people who think we're just making this argument as kind of crunchy artists, right? That we're not pragmatic people. We are the most pragmatic people, right? We know what the data says about the money that this brings to this town, right? And we've had dinner parties where we've, or been at parties or get-togethers where we've really, kind of came out and went blah about how much money we make for this city and that there would be no purpose beyond the military for this city if there weren't arts and culture that was being done. So really that leads us into what are we doing for the students? What are we doing for business, right? And business needs to recognize that what we teach are critical thinking, critical making skills that give them people that can generalize into whatever they need. But that's also their job, right? You don't just pass on, we need you to train these people to do these certifications and then expect to get thinkers out of that. What they're going to get are certifications out of that, very narrow, specialized certifications. And there's nothing wrong with the certifications, but don't throw out what we need. So yeah, I'm moving on, but you get it, you get it. Then we jump back up to number one. What does the art ecosystem need? And well, we said recognition that the arts are, quote, high value. And I hate that term. I wish somebody would go to district and tell them that is actually a term. High value and low value is what's applied, you know, high value women, low value women, high value men, blah, blah, blah. That came out of the manosphere, and we need to, you know, and incels, we need to not use it. Thank you for programs and people. But, you know, whatever. Great cities and societies need art. They need voices, and our economy depends on the arts. So I think that's what we all talked about there. What support systems would help faculty and departments grow stronger and better? Well, we're here talking, and we're going to talk, you know, with the chancellor in the fall, but there isn't a president in the room. And these are people who control whether or not we live or die. And this is a problem, right? That this isn't even on their radar, or they don't care enough, or that they've double booked or triple booked. And I get it, they're all busy, but that we need that. And we also have to understand that what we do, we can do large lecture classes, right? You can teach art appreciation just without any hands-on, right? Without any hands-on, you could do it to 60 students with lecture. But if we're going to do what we need to do to keep doing what we say we're good at, then they need to understand that enrollment is going to have to be lower, and that's okay for studios. I have studios that can only run 15 students because of fire code. That's not me being, quote, lazy. That's safety, right? I suppose we could build bigger facilities and invest more, but that's really what we also said. Plan for growth before stagnation or crisis. Plan for that growth so that it doesn't feel like a huge investment at one time when we're about to hit, you know, a huge recession, right? So that's important. And finally, 100% of everything that other people have said. So yeah. And thank you for the support that you give us, Dr. Castillo. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. A lot of really great things swirling. I think, Dr. Jones, you had your hand up next. Oh, okay. Got you. Okay.
So hi again. So there's a lot that's already been kind of said. So I'll attempt not to duplicate it, but we have minimal support at our college, minimal. And look at what all that I presented that was achieved is because of the sweat, equity, and passion of the faculty in the department. And I know that we all have that, but it speaks to this issue of pragmatism. We make something out of nothing and constantly are put in positions where we have to justify our existence. And that's where we need the support. Because I actually said this directly to the chancellor last year. I said, what we really need is for this energy to be conveyed to our presidents. Because what our presidents are being told is high wage, high demand, workforce, you know, all these things that then immediately the default mode is, oh, well, that's not the arts. Even though we all know it absolutely is the arts, because we are the heartbeat, as you very articulately put, of this community and of the local business economy. And we've really got to start, I think, unifying as best we can to really articulate our needs. I could obviously go on, but my soapbox is, you know, a little rickety. So point is, I think one of the biggest things I'd really like to see is a lot more cross college events. Like we mentioned, I'd love for us to do our arts history symposium across. I'd love for us to have a student art exhibit, you know, that's juried, that's competitive, that has scholarships, that's on display, perhaps at Access. We've talked about doing like a play festival. What if all the colleges contributed, or we had one big musical that we all did together every year? There's so much that we can do. And what I really saw today with all of your excellent work is some of us are stronger in some areas than others. Some of us could use support. I know a lot of the chairs, we talk and say, hey, I need an adjunct. Hey, I need this. But, you know, we really can be better utilizing our resources if we work together, but we also have to stand up together. And I think, I mean, the operating budgets are comical. We need something, a printing press breaks. It's like, well, how do we replace it? We don't get Perkins funds, right? So I'd really like for, I think all the ideas that were shared about the Fall Summit are vital, but yeah, I'd really like for us to really be engaging with the value the arts bring to our students, to the colleges, and to the larger community. And also this whole pre-major nonsense. It is impossible for us to track our graduate data because it's not collected. We don't have an associate in dance or drama or the visual arts, but yet that's what students are putting on their resumes. They're proud to have a SAC degree, but it's a generic one. And it's really hard to track our data. Our data is reported to the state in zip codes, not by our majors. And it's really hampering our ability to make the case, well, look, drama's got 85% graduation rate. Architecture has 86% graduation rate, but we aren't given that data. We have to go figure that out to try to make our case. And so I think that's really vital that we're able to better articulate our outcomes in a data ecosystem that's eliminated our ability to manage, measure, and articulate those outcomes. So, I mean, and that's a decision. I mean, that's an easy fix, right? So I digress. Thank you.
Note taker.
Thank you.
Okay, so Seabrook, you stole my thunder because my question was going to be, how many of you have heard the words high wage, high demand? Everybody, because every time we don't get money, it's because the college has shifted that money to those jobs, to those careers. But guess what? Every time we open a new building, every time we have a ribbon cutting ceremony, every time we have a conference, every time we have a celebration, who do they call? Who do they call to open? They call mariachi. They call choir. They call jazz band. When a new building, $1 million, maybe $1 billion, is erected, who do they call? And we just had that meeting this week at PAC. We need art for the Veterans Center, and we want you to turn it around by next year, and we want their students to do it. Okay, so high wage, high demand is asking, we are high demand, but we're not getting the respect of being high wage, right? And I think that's the way the conversation needs to shift, because our welding program is great. We're building that. Our dental school, our this, our that. But guess what? Every time they go into those buildings, what do they see? Art, right? Who do they ask to come and perform at their ceremonies, at their galas? I love the foundation. They ask us every single time to come and perform because they're getting money for their scholarships, right? But it's not always going back to the areas that might need it the most. So that's the big rub, I guess, for us. And that's not what we talked about. We talked about a lot of stuff, but then I just got the idea while y'all were talking. So when we're talking about number one, we're talking about obviously funding, but having a place in the strategy, the strategic ideas, and being there at the table with the architects or the people that are planning these events, because they don't think about us until the very end. Until the very end. And then you have 1 week to do this. You have, and you have no money because we already gave the budget to XYZ, right? And no release time for our faculty on top of all the classes that they're teaching. So being in the room and having that strategic voice, that's what we'd like to see. Of course, we'd like to see money. We'd like to a recommendation was maybe more than one podcast with Chancellor Flores regarding the arts, having a continuous conversation on that. When we talked about what systems would help arts faculty, a district calendar of events where we send all of our stuff, but because we have to go through our Marcom in each of our respective campuses, but it's another big lift to say, oh, and send it to the other campuses, right? If we had one space to collect it and post it, that would be a really great thing that we could have. I would also, somebody had mentioned, the administration not being here, but I would also say the people that run the foundation that gives scholarships to art students. I met some of them at the, what did we have, 2 days ago? And I met 2 or 3 that have awards specifically for the arts. I never knew they existed. They never knew who we were. Why aren't they invited to these things too? So they can hear and see what we're doing, because those are the people that have the money that are going to give scholarships and maybe establish more scholarships for us. So I think that's an opportunity to involve our foundation because, and I don't know if y'all know this, but the way that we've been figuring out ways to fund this has not been through our operational budgets. It has been through our foundation dollars and our revenue accounts. And that's something, I'm sorry, but our chairs have to figure out because nobody's showing us how to do it. We're having to rob Peter to pay Paul to do all of those things. And I know the faculty work so hard to do it, but the behind the scenes paperwork to get all of these things done, oh God, it's a nightmare. So a streamlined process for that would be really great. Where do we see the greatest opportunity for collaboration between college artists and community organizations? The continuing education courses, y'all, one of the colleges talked about evening classes and workshops, right? 1-day workshops. I've actually gone to the continuing education program to see how we can establish that back into our campus. But if they're not high wage, high demand, there is no continuing education credit for it, and they don't want to fund it, and they don't want to put the effort to develop it. So that area, I don't know who's at district that's in charge of that now, but that would be a way to do that. And when we talk about building utilization and shutting down over the summers and at night because nobody's using it, that would be a way to engage our community, bring them back onto campus and actually do workshops for art, for drama, for music, for our students, for our seniors, right? For our people that aren't getting a degree in it, but just love to be a part of art. And then the last one, what's a bold question about the future of arts that could impact? And we said, how do we fund the arts from the classroom to alumni in an environment that highlights successes and awards of students, alumni, and faculty? Where are the funded opportunities to promote development? So there were so many people that were celebrated here, but I know even for our faculty to go to NISAD, they have to pay themselves, or we have to come out of our department budget. It doesn't come out of the college budget. I don't have enough money to pay for my faculty to go to NISAD, even though they were so great that they won all of these awards, but I can't afford it. So yeah, that's our burning question. Money, money, money. And how do we get it? And how do we promote art, fine arts, performing arts as a valid, high wage and high demand opportunity? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we have one final table.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rachel. So we talked at our table, and I'm sitting here with some community partners. Connections was the main theme that we talked about. For every single question, connections came up. So for the first question, we talked about creating early connections, early exposure for our students with industry partners, our city partners. How can we create that collaborative spirit and share our knowledge? One major thing that we talked about was building skills within our students to market themselves, business skills for emerging artists. So when they do leave us, they have those interpersonal skills to go out and be like, hey, here's everything I can do, and here's what I can do for you. So giving them that confidence and building that up, it's going to take a lot of cross-disciplinary work. Two, we talked about talking more with our community partners. What are their needs? How can we find internship opportunities to create paths for our students during their education? So not just after setting them up with something, but getting them skills while they're still here with us so that when they do leave, they can just walk hopefully right into that internship or move on to the next phase of their education if they're going the transfer route. Three, connections across the community. How do we support each other? Because we need each other. The community needs us. We need the community. How are we going to bring people together? Albert brought up a really incredible idea about more experimental installations and pop-ups. So creating artistic and creative experiences, performance experiences that are outside of the norm, not something that's always planned, a year in advance or a month in advance. And as all of my fellow chairs and faculty already said, we're used to planning things like off the cuff and really fast. And I think that's a really exciting thing that we could do to build that excitement and engagement with our students, with our community, and also getting that financial support when the people that we work with see that, hey, these things are working to bring people in, and this is creating excitement and support around what we do for our students. The last thing, how to establish and sustain our connections with the community partners, with our disciplines and our colleges across the district so that we're lifting each other up so that we can survive but also thrive at the same time. It's going to mean a lot of growth in the arts, which we're already doing the work to do. As some people already stated, we need promotion and visibility for our colleges in the community because the colleges are the center of our community. And so if they know that they can, on the west side, they can come to Vista for performances and art experiences and exhibitions and to see, incredible dancers, and they're not having to go to Tobin or Sama, which is also great. And they should go to all of those things, but they can also just, go a mile down the road. So we really need to keep working on that.
So thank you so much. That was a wealth of information and ideas. And I want to, please, as you know, if I was running around, I was listening also. And I want to mention that there are three things that I picked up on in conversation. The first was presence of leadership. That's important. Recognizing that those who are not in the room should be in the room. There's a bunch of empty chairs in the room. When we do circle work, we always have an extra empty chair thinking, who can we invite in? And so presence is one thing that I heard. The second word that I heard was provision, needing funding, needing resources to help do the work, having to stretch dollars from departments, not getting the institutional support that you need. The third word that I heard was partnership. It was like wanting to work collaboratively across the colleges, but also looking outwardly to the community as well to invite them into partnership and also just to enjoy. So I heard presence, provision, and partnership. So thank you so much. We're going to, if you have those forms, if you wouldn't mind, in a moment, we're going to take a a pause. You see what I did there? We're going to do a pause for about 10 minutes. So it's actually 11:12. So at 11:22, if you can please be back, we're going to kick off our panel. If you have the forms, if you don't mind just bringing them to this table, and we will consolidate everything. And as we do surveys, we'll also share you out the themes we have from this. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in about 10 minutes.
Test 2 1 test.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. We're going to go ahead and begin the exciting piece, the sort of cornerstone of today's conversation. If you would please rejoin us back at the group. Hopefully we'll and food is close by, y'all. So this is the only thing standing between us and free lunch today. So I hope
Ooh,
you've
the
been
pressure's on.
pressure's on, Domingo. All right. Well, thank you all so much for being with us, for sticking around, hanging out. This has been an incredibly fruitful conversation and presentation so far. And what we're going to see as an incredible conversation that's going to take place with us again in just a moment. We have the blessing and pleasure of being in community with some outstanding artists who are doing incredible work locally, nationally, and internationally. And so to kick us off I have the honor and pleasure of introducing today's moderator. So a proud product of the Alamo Colleges District, Domingo Joshua Figueroa is a first-generation college graduate from the south side of San Antonio, Texas. With over a decade of experience in higher education, he proudly serves as a program manager for arts, culture, and community impact at the Alamo Community Colleges District. In his role, Domingo was dedicated to fostering a sense of belonging, creating supportive spaces, and cultivating a compassionate environment across the Alamo Colleges and the broader community they serve. Outside of work, Domingo enjoys spending time with his beloved
Dotson.
Dotson,
Dotson. Yeah.
Dotson,
Dotson, yeah.
Dashund,
Weenie dogs.
Olivia, and Corgi Lulu.
Wow, thank you.
Domingo, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Round of applause for Domingo, please.
Thank you. Can you actually go to the next slide right there? Are you all able to hear me good? I have like a Janet Jackson microphone or whatever, and I'm like, whoa, yeah. So this is a little brand new to me, but thank you all for sticking with us this afternoon for an incredible opportunity to hear from incredible individuals. Let me see. We're gonna. Oh, Sanderson. Yes, there was a little typo. Yeah, absolutely. So while we do that, typically whenever I do speeches and speak and all remarks and everything like that, I usually don't have a script. But for today's panel, I did want to write and cultivate something just because we're with such wonderful, beautiful individuals who have done amazing things in collaborating with us. And so I'll start off with that. So here at the Alamo Colleges, we have our moonshot where education can change the trajectory of a life. That doors can be open, possibilities can become realities, and where pathways that never existed before are now created. And just as importantly, there is a belief that creativity is not separate from that transformation of our moonshot, but essential to it. For over 80 years, the Alamo Colleges have been serving communities, nurturing gifts and talent, and investing in the idea that when people are given the space to learn, to express, and to imagine, real change becomes possible. The arts live at the heart of that work. They give shape to our stories. They remind us that transformation is not only about knowledge, but about identity, voice, and belonging. Today's conversation sits at the intersection where art, education, and community come together to create something larger than any one of us. We're honored to be joined by artists who have not only shared their work with the Alamo Colleges, but who have helped shape our spirit through collaboration, creativity, and deep engagement with our students and our communities. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and open up my very first question, and we're going to go ahead and start off with Vincent Valdez, who's our inaugural artist in residence. And so, and this question's for you also. I want to hear from each of you. You know, each of you had the opportunity to work with the Alamo Colleges. What has excited you about that opportunity? What made you say yes? And of course, why was it important for you to make it a priority?
It's good to see all of you here. Thank you for the invitation. I got to start by saying I was very ignited by the little bit of conversation and dialogue that I was able to hear you speak about in regards to your concerns, your truth. It's good to see people still fighting the good fight. I jumped at the opportunity to engage with the ACC system and students. You know, it's been a full decade now since I last resided in San Antonio. I was born and raised here. And I, last January, fled the disastrous fires in Los Angeles, got out, and I decided to return, that it was an important moment for me at this moment in my life and career to return here, the place that I have always called home. At a moment in time like this, I thought it was extremely important to jump back into the trenches and to try to find ways to thread, uh, communities, to be some sort of a bridge. And it couldn't have been a better, coincidental moment when I was approached by ACC about this opportunity. For me, the youth, the tremendous impact that the arts has on the youth, not only in any society, but that I've always found, I'm a firm believer at what exists here in the city of San Antonio. There is something so unique, so rare, so unspoken and neglected still in so many ways. The amount of raw talent that is birthed out of this place, something in the water. But that goes without it goes without saying. I will never not recognize the amount of neglect that this city as a community has on the arts. It's infuriating. And so, I am a product of the community public art opportunities. Without that experience, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And so being able to engage with the students at ACC, I felt like it was my turn to try to give back and help to, continue to crack open that door for the next generation. The arts are as important as ever. We all know this. We recognize it. We see it. We acknowledge it in the way that a state like, a region like we are in, places the arts under crosshairs as a threat. We know why. It's the critical thought. The critical thought that is inspired and ignited by the arts, is it's more important than ever, and it's going to be up to all of us together as a coalition to continue to nurture the talent that is born here, and these students, I'm so grateful that they have voices like you looking out for, their futures as young thinkers and creative minds.
That they do. That they do. Yes, absolutely. Vocab. So what's excited you about the opportunity to work with the Alamo Colleges? Why do you make it a priority to keep coming back?
I really love Dr. Castillo with all of my heart. Like, it's very interesting that there are two people in this room that kind of, I feel like, came in boots on the ground with me when my career, I will say, elevated to what I feel like was the next level, which is when I became Poet Laureate of San Antonio. One is Crystal Jones, who rode her motorcycle in the heat to come get me to sign my contract at Pizza Classics. And the other one is Dr. Castillo, who asked me a couple months after he started his career here to become a part of the National Day of Healing, a collective. I don't know, I feel like y'all change the name slightly every year. And so I'm like, it's the Day of Healing. This is the day we come and talk about racism and how we gonna get past it. That's in my mind, that's how I break it all the way down. And so it's like, I feel married to the only, okay, so I'm gonna be very honest. Like, the only higher education that I ever received was from San Antonio College. I did about a semester or two. Everybody thinks I have a master's degree. I do not have a master's degree, yet I'm doing things that require a master's degree, like teaching at universities all over the nation. I literally teach at universities. I literally sit on academic panels. This is my third academic panel this month. And I'm like, how am I doing this? Do I struggle with imposter syndrome? Hell yeah, I do. But you know what? Every time y'all call me and ask me to come do it, I'm gonna put on my dress and I'm gonna walk in the door and act like I know what I'm doing. And every time, thank you very much. It never ceases to amaze me how every time I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I think about all the children that grew up in San Antonio, Texas, like I did, who probably feel like I don't belong here. And it takes, they are, like you said, they are nothing but raw talent, right? But it takes the legitimacy of a teacher or a mentor speaking life to that child to affirm their identity. And you are meeting grown people who still need their identity affirmed. You're like, hell, I need mine. I know you do. I need my identity affirmed. And so therefore, I'm showing up. I'm showing up for every generation. And what I love about Alamo Colleges is your commitment to intergenerational studies. Like, you could be in a class, the person next to you could be 60, you could be 26. It's crazy, but they're all in class and they're learning from each other. And when I was in school, the brief time that I was there, I was learning from everybody in the room. I wasn't just learning from my teacher, professor, whatever. And so I feel like it's an opportunity to teach the things that I have learned, and to explore with a great budget this cross collaboration with other artists from different disciplines. And so that's why it's a challenge for me. I get excited for the challenge of collaborating with other artists. And that's another reason why I say yes. I'll stop now.
That's amazing. No, yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Like I mentioned, no educators do more than those of the Alamo colleges. There's no more that because of you all do such amazing work. It's very powerful and it sticks. Even to this day, it stayed with me, and also would thank you for sharing that. Look at this mic, the Janet Jackson mic. We got it. Okay, there we go. No, yeah. So Rosie, why is it in why we shared a year-long journey. What was that like for you? Why was it a priority for both of you to work with the Alamo colleges?
I'll speak for myself. Hello, everyone, and thank you all for being so attentive and so passionate. I could feel it, just the way you speak and the way you're with each other. My name is Rosie, and I am a fronteriza. I was born in Laredo, Texas, one foot in Nuevo Laredo, which is Tamaulipas, Mexico, and the other foot in Tejas, Texas, USA. Uh, and so I come into this world dancing out of the frontera, just moving any which way, cumbias, tejano, country, jazz, tap, ballet. We did it all, right? And I got to San Antonio in 1987 dancing professionally, and I end up during the COVID times with Maestra Veronica as her assistant. So I just skipped through my whole entire career there. But Maestra Veronica had this opportunity to work with Alamo Colleges, and I was like, you need to say yes. Whatever you do, you just need to say yes, because I strongly believe in the junior college level education as being not just a stepping stone, but like a place to really develop and envelop and just take your body and your dreams to another level. And it could be just going back to local and teaching your kids at home, or just being in your area community, neighborhood community, or it could just be like all the way to California, all the way all over the world, right? Or all over our city, just doing amazing things. And so Maestra Veronica also heard y'all's call for this ability, this opportunity to create revolution-style conversations. And I was happy to just be part of a supportive system for Maestra Veronica. And I hope that she's agreeing with everything I'm saying.
No, absolutely.
But on a personal note, as a dance teacher, I've been teaching high school dance teams for 30 years here in San Antonio, Texas. And those high school dance team girls that don't get the opportunity to go straight to a major college or university system, a competitive system outside of Texas, stay here. And they lose their interest because there's not a space for them to grow. And your space is the place for them to grow. So I always talked about Northwest Vista College in the dance department. I used to talk about SAC when Annette was there back in the late 90s, early 2000s, Annette Flores, and and her folklorico. I talk about y'all's theater all the time because I have access to the community kids who are just like, where do I go? There's nothing to do here. And I'm like, are you kidding? I'm from a little town in Texas in the frontera where there is nothing to do. So I came to the big city to do something in this city, this great city, and it always was connected to community college. So please don't stop the fight because you're so important to our community.
Thank you. Absolutely. And so maestra, hopefully it's keeping up. Is it keeping up? There we go. We're using technology to help us out with the translations. But what motivated you to come work with the Alamo Colleges? Why was it a priority of yours? Yeah, did it catch?
Okay. No me gustaba la tecnología, pero ahora es bendita para traducir. Yo soy Verónica Castillo Hernández. Aquí está quien me dio la vida, mi mamá, Soledad Marta. Mi maestra, porque yo vengo de una generación de artesanos o creadores del árbol de la vida, de procedencia de Izúcar de Matamoros, Puebla. Soy cuarta generación y las nuevas generaciones están empezando. Es un honor estar aquí con profesores de arte que están preocupados en cómo apoyar toda esa voz, toda el hambre que tiene no nada más los jóvenes, una sociedad que está muriendo lentamente porque no tienen la verdadera creación o el empuje y el apoyo. Por eso me dio tanta emoción cuando el doctor Flores me invitó para hacer una obra del árbol de la vida, que lo vio en Washington, D.C., y me dijo si le podía crear un árbol, porque el árbol de la vida es el origen, es la creación, es la formación, son sueños, metas, todo lo que uno quiera ver, lo que es un árbol. Y en este árbol estuvimos platicando, el doctor Flores, yo, su esposa. Después tuve contacto con doctor Eri y Domingo. Estuvimos platicando. Al momento de hacer preguntas, el artista siempre rápido empieza a soñar. Empieza a crear la música, empieza a crear la danza, empieza a visualizar infinidades de trabajo. Esa es la mente del artista. Y al momento dije, oh, tú eres un verdadero revolucionario en la educación. Y el árbol se va a llamar el árbol de la revolución en la educación. ¿Por qué? Porque sin arte, para mí el arte es la base principal para tener a los mejores científicos, médicos, psicólogos, todo. Es una base importante porque sensibiliza al joven y al futuro profesor, al futuro académico, científico, médico, lo que vaya a ser, ingeniero, porque tienen esa capacidad de mirar primero con el corazón y después proyectarlo con su mente, con su voz. Y por eso fue un honor que me hayan seleccionado para trabajar en este árbol. Gracias.
And we're going to have a translation from Rosie.
Yeah, this thing is incredible.
Technology.
You're taking notes because last time I bombed her
Not at
her
all.
translation, but she says, hello, I am truly blessed to be here today using technology, even though I don't really like it. Her name is Veronica Castillo Salas, and I am here with the one who gave me life, my mother, Doña Soledad Marta. She is my teacher, And I come from a generation of artisans and creators of the tree of life. My origins are from Izúcar de Matamoros, Puebla. I am fourth generation, and the new generations behind me are not too far behind. It is an honor to be here with teachers of the arts who are concerned with how to support all those voices and all those who hunger for their existence, not only the youth, but so here's where the translation, I'm having to work this out because that's not what she said. Hold on. So it is an honor to be here. Yes, those who so it's but with a society that's slowly dying. So she's here to support the voices of those who are hungry for the arts, those who are hungry to exist, and to support a society that's slowly dying. Because they lack vision of the true creation and the drive and support. Sorry, that was a little weird in the translation. La traducción también no, sí, está bien, está bien. Ajá, nomás lo tengo que leer mejor. That's why it gives me so much emotion when it gave me so much emotion when Dr. Flores invited me to do work with ACC regarding the Tree of Life, which he got to see in Washington, D.C. He asked me if I could create a tree because the Tree of Life is the origin of creation, it is formation, it's dreams, it's goals, it envisions everything and everyone it wishes to see. That is what a Tree of Life is. And on this tree, when we were talking about the tree that would be commissioned for ACC, Dr. Flores and his wife. We had deep conversations, and then I had deep conversations with Dr. Eric and Domingo. And I was filled with all these questions that I slowly started to dream and see and envision what this tree can become. And just like musicians, when you start thinking, you start creating immediately. You see music, or those dancers, you start creating dance, you see movement. Those who create art, they visualize. So it's endless work. My brain just exploded with ideas. And at that moment of that conversation, I thought to myself, oh, you're a true revolutionary in education. And that's what the tree was, why it was called the Revolution in Education. She adds that for her, without art, then you won't have a solid foundation for having scientists, doctors, psychologists, a future career in professionalism. Everyone is important for everyone to have a foundation, but it's through the arts that you could have a solid and strong foundation. So if I read this just the way it is, it doesn't sound like a good translation. So I'm just reading really quickly. Give me a minute. So she also believes that because of the arts, you're able to have the ability to first look within your heart and then project what's in your mind. And that is a helpful tool, especially for those who go beyond the arts, like those scientists, like those doctors, like those engineers. And for her, that's why it was an honor. It is still an honor that she was selected to work on this Tree of Life with ACC. And thank you for this incredible opportunity to talk with you all.
Well, thank you. One of the greatest joys that I've had, earlier I mentioned whenever we brought them to campuses, seeing you all so excited, and of course seeing the students very excited, is seeing the joy that working with you all has brought them. So after, the events, we interact with them, and just seeing the pure joy from each of you all from working with us, I'm truly grateful to have experienced it, and I want to share that with you all. And so y'all have talked about, transformative power and, the power of the Alamo Colleges. And so I want to bring us to our students. And so many of our students here at the Alamo Colleges are first in their families to attend college, or they have limited resources to go to those big name universities. And so they may not see themselves as artists or cultural leaders. From your perspectives, what helps unlock creative confidence, and what can we as educators in this room do to create those conditions? Yes, absolutely. So, from your perspective, what helps unlock creative confidence and what we as educators in this room can do to create those conditions?
Don't allow the fatigue of everything that you're enduring to stop you from sharing the virtue you have with your students. It is exhausting to do so because many of you are creative people and you want to be working on your own projects and doing your own thing. And having that work-life balance for yourself is challenging and taxing enough. But then to say, I'm going to go into the classroom and I'm going to pour into these people who sometimes seemingly are apathetic. And so one is not overlooking people who are seemingly apathetic because we don't know what they're going through every day just to make it to class, right? And so having the empathy and compassion in your heart to say, I'm going to try to work with you despite your schedule, despite your stank attitude sometimes, and all of that, because that's real. But then what I recall from being a young adult was teachers who saw me, like literally saw me, and I was putting forth a little effort. I was like showing them my poems and I was, answering questions in class. But they introduced me to artists that they knew that I didn't know about. So they were like, hey, have you heard of Maya Angelou? Hey, have you heard of this person and that person? Go to the library, check that out. So introducing your students to artists that they need to see the representation, because they may not have access. And I know the internet is there. Yeah, but we can't assume that people are making room for that access in their life. So making sure that you introduce them to artists, which was a blessing to talk to one of your professors who was like, I'm showing my students your work vocab. And I was like, what? That's wild. But I always try, when I meet students and when I'm teaching students, I really am like, hey, have you heard of this artist? Because when you said that, it reminded me of so-and-so, and I want you to check out their work and see, because they're still finding their voice. Like I said earlier, they're still finding their voice, and you're a part of that. You're contributing to them, helping them shape their identity as whether it be an academic or an artist or a creator or, just a person.
Oh, yeah, fatigue is real. And so, a lot of the work that Dr. Castillo and I try to do is help alleviate that and, bring these conversations to you all, because that gave me a little spark, energy that's going to help get me through and beyond. So, yeah. Maestra?
Okay. Una de las cosas que es bien importante, cómo motivar a los jóvenes a su creatividad. Hay que aceptar, yo soy un poco muy realista, creo que eso es lo que hace cuando tú trabajas con el barro. Yo les decía, el barro, no permitas que el barro te domine, apréndelo a dominar. Y eso es una frase para todo, para todo. Cuando un joven o una jovencita no tenemos la habilidad para escribir, quizás tenemos la habilidad de soñar. Nada más se busca cómo empujarlo para que ellos expulsen, saquen todo lo que traen adentro de ellos mismos. Que acepten que aunque sueñen ser los mejores artistas como pintor, como Vicente Valdés, pues no tenemos esa capacidad. Pero tienes la voz. Puede ser una cantante como Bocala, o tienes una habilidad para baile. Hay que hacerlos reconocer de lo que ellos son capaces de hacer. Bailan, bueno, ahí está como Rosy. Pero si la pongo a hacer barro, me va a hacer unas figuras extrañas, pero las voy a aceptar. Eso es tratar de enseñar que reconozcan lo que somos capaces de hacer. No rechazarlos, sino saber observarlos y decir, mira, tienes toda la pasión, pero te falta la verdadera, tu cuerpo dice que no, tú eres capaz para estas cosas, experimentalo. Y si no, bueno, vienes otra vez para atrás. Y es empujarlos, es animarlos, es romper esas líneas de querer seguir nada más una línea recta. La vida no es recta. La vida tiene subidas, bajadas, eh, muchas maneras, pero al final logramos lo que queremos. Y eso es como ustedes, como profesores que han experimentado, tienen esa capacidad para poder empujar a sus jóvenes.
This is a really cool technology here. So, but it just still doesn't translate completely, like with her passion and her sense. So if I pause a little, please give me that that grace. I am definitely not a professional translator. I'm a text-mix translator. So one of the things that is very important to her as a teacher is to how to motivate the young people, how to motivate their creativity. We must accept, or she's saying, let me go back. I'm maybe perhaps too much of a realistic person, and I think that has to do with her working with clay. What she tells her students is don't let the clay dominate you, and she feels like that is a great metaphor in life. Learn to master working with clay so that you can mold, shape, rebuild, start all over again, and create something amazing. And that's the phrase for everything in life. When a young man or young woman doesn't have the skill to write, maybe they have the skill to dream. All we do is look for how to push so that they can bring out everything they carry within themselves. Let them accept, even if they're just dreaming. Maybe they're dreaming of being an artist. Maybe they're dreaming of being a painter like Vicente Valdez. We don't know what ability they truly have until we push them or let them dream. But maybe some of those kids want to have a voice like Andrea here, vocab. Maybe they want to have the ability to dance. We must allow ourselves to recognize them for their capabilities. She said that, if she's a dancer, she's a dancer. Like Rosie, meaning me, she puts me to do clay. I come up with a hot mess, but she has to allow me to, let my clay be a hot mess, and then I just start all over again. But I belong in the dance floor. But she still accepts me. Thank you, Vero, for accepting me. This is, let's see, try to teach them to recognize what they are capable of doing. Don't reject your students. Just give them time to be observant, because they look at you and the passion that you have. And so by seeing you, the teachers, and your passion, they can develop into something that they are actually capable of. Allow them to experiment. If they don't do well in something, let them come back and try it again. Or maybe they retire that and go into something else, but keep pushing them, because encouraging them also encourages ourselves to continue breaking those lines. And we cannot just stay in two straight lines. That's not what life is. Life is not straight. Life has its ups, its downs, its diagonals, its sideways, its circles. And in the end, we just want to achieve for our students to become something that they never thought they could become. And that's what you are as teachers. You experience, you have the ability to push the people to greater things.
Wow, got chills after that. Wow, thank you.
What they said.
Yeah.
I mean, that was beautifully, perfectly, powerfully stated. I mean, it's a really difficult question for me to answer because I understand the tremendous responsibilities that you as educators have on your shoulders. It's a major burden, especially right at this moment. I can't emphasize this moment enough. It's do or die, people. I mean, it really, truly is. I think that one of the challenges I've always tried to present for myself in the classroom, working with artists, students, is, I've always tried to be honest with the students by being critical. I have found that students, especially young students, as disgruntled or as terrifying they might be, as terrified as they might be of true, raw, honest feedback about what they've created, is mostly appreciated in the end by students. That honesty, the genuine capacity to not only communicate but to be open with students as creative thinkers. And so one of the ways that I always tried to approach this was by constantly finding ways to challenge the students. I understand that it's not going to work for every single student. We can't expect that the response is going to be 100% constantly in this classroom studio environment. But what I found to be most important was that at the end of the semester, a year, out of the group of students, there are always going to be a handful that really resonate with the dialogue that you are presenting with them individually. And so each one of these students, I would recognize their tremendous strengths. Everybody's good at something. And whether it's technique or maybe somebody else is very strong at their concepts but can't execute. Well, each one of these individuals, I would then ask them, well, what is your weakness? What do you really suck at? What are you intimidated by? I would have them identify it, and then we would take that weakness and we would focus on that as much as we would their strengths. Try to turn that weakness into the complete opposite. Because in doing this, it helps them to see not only the perception of who they are and what they're making through a new lens. Eventually, that lens begins to widen. They've gained this third eye. Then they start to go outside and they see the world in a slightly different way. And I think that the ultimate goal, as educators, is to help these individuals recognize that in order to become a good artist has to be willing to let go of what is most valuable to them. You have to be willing to take that risk, to jump off that cliff, as terrifying as it can be. Because once you can learn to let go of these strengths, of these things that you hold that you're so afraid of losing, then anything and everything is possible. For me, it was learning to let go of what was safety for me. It was home. I remember, it was a very different time, but being a young artist myself, back then I didn't have a lot of voices telling me, get out of Texas, go far, go away, you can always return. It was the opposite. Most people were saying, stay right here. Stay here, do not venture out there. It's not for you. You might not make it. And I tried to use that and reverse it and said, well, let me go see what it is that's out there. Now, I can bring back what I've gained out there and bring it back and try to find ways to, present that opportunity in any way I can to the next wave of thinkers. I think that as educators, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture that we're all aiming for as a community, as a society. But on a daily basis, I would go into that classroom and just remind myself, like, who, what, why? Who am I? Where am I? And why am I here? What am I doing? What is the end goal here? One day at a time. It was, it was a mission, and I really enjoyed doing it. It's a powerful experience. It's something that's so important, and finally threaded in to the arts, the idea of this legacy of passing down this torch. We're all a part of it. Without us, that flame will die. You have to keep it going. You have to remember, constantly remind yourselves of the bigger end goal. And I'll stop there.
Well, thankfully, power is slowing down.
I'll try not to be as long, but I was thinking as I was listening to when I was a student and when I was a teacher, right? In the prime times of me being a teacher, and how did I unlock creative confidence with my students? Mostly how I unlocked creative confidence in my students, and I'm talking about preparing high school dancers to go into the college level dance teams, professional dance teams, university dance teams, which is very competitive. I really tried to offer a safe space for them, right? And what does that mean? That means that I could not be the teachers that I had. In other words, like when I was preparing to go to the professional level, my teachers were always very negative, and the space that they created was toxic, right? So I have complexes about my hair, about my thighs, about the color of my skin, because I wasn't thin enough to be in the ballet department, but yet I had all the knowledge to be in that ballet department. I might not have had the slender look because I was too Latina, or in LA, I wasn't Latina enough. So those safe spaces to be different, to be quirky, to just create those spaces in the classroom, because this is where you're practicing. This is where our students are practicing. They're practicing in your classroom, in our classroom. And so they need to have that space with that push. So we need to find that little balance, right? How do we create this openness, but also this pathway where, you need to be able to use these techniques, because these techniques work. Oh, my hair, and it's not holding my pen anymore. And then there is a space to dream, right? A space to create moments for dreaming, and that is to introduce other artists, local artists, nearby artists, friend artists, so that we can see ourselves within each other, right? And that, I think, I know that inspired my students whenever I would bring a friend. And always that story, right? Like, where did you come from and how did you get there? Because we all have a story. We all came from somewhere, and we all started with that lack of confidence before we got to all of our experiences. And then we came out to become the teachers, to become those people who were like carrying the torch. Those are a couple of things I think you all are already doing. I just feel like if we continue to embrace each other, to create those dreams, to create those spaces, then the future generations will continue to flourish from that and blossom from that. And something that stuck up to me is that somebody said that we do things with the most, I think you said, right? We do, like, we create things out of nothing, right? How am I going to produce this amazing dance production, when I have no money, I have no costumes, I have no set design, and I have no live musicians? Well, how do you do that? How do you create something? We just start at the park, and you go from there, and then you start calling friends, and you start listening to the community, and you start participating. And I think that's one way that I've helped my students who had talent but weren't able to go on to professional level. I made sure that they had the tools so that they could be good humans at the end, good creative humans. So I hope that you continue doing what you're doing because you got all the tools to make great humans.
Wow. Well, I don't know about you all, but not just because it's cold, but I'm actually getting goosebumps from what they're sharing. And so thank you all so much for the powerful words that you all are sharing with our incredible educators in this room. And so I want to focus now more so on y'all's art. And so whether it be the visual, the literary, the movement, like how do you all embed your community into the work that you do? How do you prioritize? How do you ensure that they show up in your art?
Community as subject matter has been it remains to be a very important component in the way that I frame my work. I made a decision very early on that I would bring my community with me wherever I went or ended up. And it's been my quest, since then to try to find ways to tell my own personal story and history, as well as the stories and histories with my community, whether that be the south side of San Antonio, whether that be the city as a whole, whether that be the state, the southwest region of this nation, or the nation as a whole. And I think that it's been a tremendous opportunity to be, in various parts of the nation, whether it was at art school or in the art world itself, and to be able to see the stories of my grandparents, in their backyards and their houses in the south side as a powerful symbol about what represents 21st century America. It is definitely my end goal to confirm, to justify through my images that the tales of each one of these communities, the Mexican American community, the Chicano community, the Texan community, is an important part of the American canon, whether that's within art history, whether that's through social histories and social justice. Nobody can ever convince me that any one of these tales is not as important as any other region of this nation or any other community. And so that's really something that I work towards very hard in the studio, year after year, and I plan to continue doing so.
Una pregunta muy, muy, muy importante porque eso nos forma como seres humanos, el trabajar con la comunidad. Y para que podamos nosotros trabajar como comunidad, primero tenemos que conocer a nuestra familia, unificarnos la familia. Le tengo que agradecer al universo que crecí en una familia con mi padre, mi madre y mis 5 hermanos. Éramos una familia que trabajábamos en equipo. Entonces, cuando tú te enseñan a trabajar en equipo y compartir, te comparten tus padres, te comparten vecinos, tíos, todos, eso ya se queda dentro de tu sangre. ¿Qué pasa después? Otra de las cosas más importantes es cuando desde niña te enseñan lo que es tu región, lo que es tu comunidad, lo que es cada rincón de la provincia y te empiezas a llenar de mucha creatividad y quieres ayudar lo que tú ves alrededor. Cuando es un joven de 6, 7, 10 años, la vida es jugar. Hasta creo que a los 15 años estamos jugando. Pero hay una memoria y esa memoria la usamos cuando pasa el tiempo y llega cuando uno crecemos y maduramos. Yo emigré, yo soy emigrante, llegué a los 26, 27 años. Nada más vine por un taller, para dar un taller, y fue el Centro Esperanza. Me invitó y tenían un programa. Me gustan los retos, porque yo en México era activista. Aquí activista más en el arte que ir a pelear. Me comentan que tienen una cooperativa Mujer Artes. Y yo le pregunté a la directora, ¿cooperativa? ¿Cooperativa? Dijo, sí, sí, tenemos una cooperativa. Le dije, no, no es posible que tenga una cooperativa un país capitalista, porque un país capitalista nada más se fija en sí mismo. Primero yo, después yo y por último yo. Y la diferencia de una cooperativa es trabajar en comunidad, trabajar en equipo, apoyarse y impulsar el que nos va a representar porque tiene la capacidad para levantar la voz fuerte y luchar y defender. Eso es comunidad, eso es cooperativa. Y me dice, ¿me puedes ayudar? Le dije, ok, lo empezamos a formar. Ya son 32 años que estoy en San Antonio y me he revelado en que no querer hablar inglés, pero un día me voy a atrever. Lo que yo quiero decir es esto. ¿Cómo traigo la comunidad cuando yo emigré acá? Cuando las mujeres necesitaban ayuda, les ayudé a reconocerse a sí mismas quiénes somos como mujeres de color y cuáles eran sus derechos, que no se tenían que intimidar de nadie, que ellas tenían su voz, que no tenían que dejarse en la casa ni del marido ni de los hijos. Nosotros somos humanos y merecemos respeto. Ahí está la primera. Después pasaron los años. Llega el tiempo, todos llegamos a nuestro tiempo le decimos de caducidad o de uso, y decidí salirme. ¿Por qué? Porque se llena uno de tanta injusticia, de tanta desigualdad, de muchas cosas. Dije, creo que es tiempo de que tenga mi propio espacio y que pueda invitar a la comunidad. ¿Por qué? Porque muchas mujeres, tanto mujeres como hombres, no tienen lugar para que puedan exhibir, para que puedan leer una poesía, para que puedan presentar una obra. No lo tienen si no tienen X rango de, vamos a decir, de prestigio. No les dan esa oportunidad. Es como el que va a buscar un trabajo en una oficina y le requieren experiencia. No puedo decir la grosería, pero ¿cómo van a tener experiencia si no le dan la oportunidad? Dije, ok, pues mi galería está abierta para todos, siempre y cuando les digo, quiero ver el arte, porque es un espacio para la comunidad, familias, niños, jóvenes, todos, y quiero ver qué es lo que van a presentar. Y le dije, ok, está bien, pueden presentar todo menos esta obra. ¿Por qué? Porque hay cierta, voy a decirlo, San Antonio todavía no está preparado para ciertos niveles de ver arte. Todavía nos falta mucho. Y así es como yo traigo la comunidad. Así es como invito a la comunidad. Y es así que ustedes, profesores, si tienen unos muy buenos estudiantes, o no importa lo que sea, pero buenos, malos, increíbles, lo que sea, hay que darles oportunidad de sacarlos de la institución y mostrar su trabajo en lugares que no sea el colegio. Y se sientan ellos orgullosos que son apreciados o tienen la oportunidad de mostrar su trabajo en un lugar diferente que no es la escuela. Eso es una invitación. Cuando gusten, La galería está abierta para ustedes. Y mi arte es eso, pelear a través, dándole voz, el barro, para todas las voces que no pueden hablar o no son escuchadas. Mi expresión es a través de mi trabajo. Y si yo hago ese trabajo, sería una hipócrita en no poder compartir mi espacio con los que lo quieran usar. ¿Ok? Gracias.
Maestra. She's so philosophical. I love it. So how did, oh, wait, hold on. Further up, further up. Yeah. Her mom just said, you need to speak English. But we're Tex-Mex, aren't we? We kind of understand a little bit. We all do, right? We all understand that little bit of Spanish. You get that one word or one phrase. And so todos entienden un poco porque somos bien Tex-Mex. Aquí se habla inglés y español a la misma vez. Okay. Dijiste mucho, ¿verdad?
Me gusta torturar.
Okay, there we go. The question. How do you embed your community into all the work that you do? Is this yours? Uh-huh. ¿Sé por qué se grabó también el de ellos? Uh-huh.
You can synthesize it.
Let me go back. Hold on. I could what?
Synthesize it, summarize it.
Uh-huh. I'm sorry, I skipped a little too much. Okay. So she said, yeah, she starts out with saying that she is really grateful that she was born into a family with her mother and her father and her 5 siblings that worked as a team because they were cooperative. That's how she learned to be in community. Can you all hear me? Is that better? She learned about community through her family, and she's so grateful to the universe that she grew up in a family of artists because they had to work as a team. She was taught to work and to share. Her parents taught them how to share with neighbors, with their family relatives, so that it becomes part of your blood. It becomes part of who you are. Another most important thing is that from a young age, my parents taught me where my region was, who my community was, every corner of the province I was raised in. And you start filling yourself up with the things that you see, and it gives you creativity because you end up traveling and you end up seeing other different communities around you and how they work together. And so that it's an inspiration to see others work together. So when life, when you're little, you're like 6, 7, or 10, or even 15, you're still playing. And that playing becomes memory, and part of that memory is used in your experiences as you grow up and you mature. She immigrated here to the United States and arrived when she was about 27 or maybe even 26. And she only arrived here to give a workshop. She gave a workshop at the Esperanza Peace and Justice Center. And they invited me to a special program they had, and she was up for a challenge. But when she was in Mexico, she was, when in her teenage years and her adolescent years, she was an activist. And here it's more, my activism is more in her art, not in action. And so Esperanza had a women's cooperative, and they tell her, come please work at our women's cooperative. And she's all like, a cooperative, a co-op? And they were like, yes, we have a co-op here. And she's like, that's not possible to have a co-op in the United States because the United States is a capitalist country. You can't be a capitalist, live in a capitalist frame of mind and have a co-op. But she liked the challenge, and she took the challenge. The difference of working in a cooperative and working in community and is working as a team, supporting each other and pushing each other that represents every single person in that team or in that community. It gives the ability to raise your voice and fight to defend what you believe in. And that to her is what a community is. Also, she says, that she's already been here in San Antonio for 32 years and she rebels to speak English. Sorry. But one day she'll take a chance and maybe learn some English. But what she really wants to say is, how do I bring community into my work? Well, we're working with the women. It helped me recognize in myself to recognize in them that as women of color, as they had equal rights, that they should not be intimidated by anyone, that they had a voice, that not for them to be intimidated by their husbands or their home environment, nor by even their children, because we are all human and we deserve respect. And that's one of the points that she made in her teachings. As years passed, differences were experienced, and she left that cooperative and started her own space, which is her Galeria Eva, EVA, Echoes and Voices of the Arts, here in the South Side, because she saw more injustice and inequalities in the communities that she was that were actually working for justice and equality. And so she created a space to have the ability to create more art for community. Le puedes apachurrar ahí, no sé qué dice. So she created Galeria Eva so that she could have an opportunity space, or a space for opportunity for young artists, young community members who didn't have spaces to show their art, to use their voice, to be part of an expressive community. And so she invites you, teachers, to take your students outside of the classroom and show their art and give them not just the opportunity, but the experiences that come from opportunities and doors being open. So she invites you to take your students. If you're ever, you're always more than welcome to come to her gallery and have an exhibit there. But yes, that's what she feels like her job is right now. And her job right now is to give opportunity for more experiences, because as we see, even in the job world and professional world, you need experience to get a job. Same as for artists, they need experience to get that grant, or they need an experience to get to the next level. And that's what she feels that she's doing within her art and in the space that she's creating for community.
Wow. Such powerful words. And whenever Dr. Castillo and I do an event, we hope to feed you not only with good food, but with powerful words. And I say that because it's time for lunch, and we're now going to open it up for a Q&A. If any of you have questions for our incredible artists, this is your opportunity. There we go.
Hi, my name is Dora Peña. I'm an adjunct faculty at San Antonio College in the Radio, TV, Film department. Hi, Dr. John. La pregunta es para Verónica, maestra Verónica. Usted dijo que necesitamos, San Antonio todavía está retrasado en cómo, no sé si quiso decir apreciar el arte, pero dijo en ver el arte, ¿verdad? Y yo siento, pues quería preguntarle cómo preparamos a nuestro público, qué podemos hacer para prepararlos para ese arte. I want to translate that question. So Veronica Castillo said that San Antonio is still not ready to view art and certain art, right? And so my question is, how do we prepare our public, our audience, to view art at that level that she's referring to? Because I couldn't put it into those words. Yo sentía lo mismo, pero no sabía cómo ponerlo en palabras. Entonces me interesa mucho saber. So I'm really interested to know what she meant by that.
Ok. Te torturo, Rosy. Ahí vamos. Mira, como yo lo dije en un principio, yo llegué cuando tenía 27 años y ya tengo 58 años. Un largo tiempo de observar. La gran diferencia, yo lo que siento es esto. Estamos tan lejos y tan cerca de la frontera. Y eso, lo que yo observo, limita. Porque cuando yo empecé a ir a Austin, Austin es totalmente diferente. La música, el arte, la comunidad, todo. Y dije, porque yo estuve con un grupo de artistas, había mucha unidad, se apoyaban, no había esa separación o esa ruptura. Y cuando yo he estado aquí por ¿cuántos años? 20, 32, 33 años. Cuando estoy aquí, hay una gran competencia. Me tocó empezar a ver cómo hacían los altares de Día de Muertos. Nada más habían 2 lugares donde se celebraba Día de Muertos. Era el Centro Cultural Aztlán y el Teatro Guadalupe. Tenían su propia onda o estilo o forma de hacer sus altares. Cuando yo emigro, yo ya soy adulta para mí, 26, 27 años, yo miro de diferente cosa, pero veo esa gran diferencia en la unidad, esa que siempre son competitivos, no se apoyan. Aunque haya una persona con tanta habilidad, lo tratan de mantener abajo. Por eso me gustó cuando dijo Vicente, tienes que salir. Ahora sí, como dicen, huye de esta ciudad. Y cuando regresas con tu mente totalmente abierta, con una experiencia, con hambre de quererle enseñar a los demás, de que no debe de haber esa división. La otra es, hay artistas que me preguntan y soy honesta y les digo, lo conozco, digo, perdón, pero está bonito. Pero dame una crítica, está bonito. Porque ya cuando uno conoce a la persona, no tenemos ese corazón de romperles sus sueños. Pero despacio, despacio para llegar a cómo ayudarles. Y muchas veces he escuchado que es el mejor, que es magnífico, que es todo. Y le dije, no es bueno eso, porque entonces nos quedamos estancados y no sueñan con cambiar o aspirar para ser mejor. Hay mucho de eso aquí en San Antonio. Hay mucho de eso que no permiten que los sueños se puedan crecer más. Otra de las cosas, cuando yo estaba con unos jóvenes dando un taller, y sobre todo fue en el Valle, estaba en la universidad, y yo todos, nada más tenía de mi clase, eran 25 estudiantes y nada más 2 eran artistas que estaban estudiando la escuela de arte, y todos los demás eran ingenieros. o abogados de diferentes, pero tenían que cubrir esa carrera. Nadie se atrevía a hacer nada. Y yo les dije, ¿quién de todos ustedes ha viajado? Ninguno. Ninguno. El viajar, el salir, mejora tu perspectiva de mirar de diferente manera el mundo. Y cuando uno regresa, llegas hambriento de querer cambiar tu mundo, por lo menos alrededor, por lo menos a tu familia, querer que ellos aprendan. Es de ahí donde empieza. Enseñar, no queremos enseñar todos, pero empezar el cambio en casa, en los hijos. Les apuesto que los niños ya no juegan afuera de casa. Ahora todos están en la televisión, en las máquinas o la bendita tecnología. Bueno, a la vez mala. Están todos ahí. Ya no hay esos momentos de cocinar en familia, de ayúdame a pelar esto, ya es todo, todos creen que nos están haciendo la vida más fácil. No, nos están empeorando y esa es la razón por cual ya no podemos mirar. Nos quedamos ahí en esa línea, nos quedamos, como decimos, el barco varado, estancado. Ya no va hacia adentro, hacia el mar. Nos quedamos ahí porque creemos que es lo mejor. No, los que vienen de fuera son los que ven. El turista nomás viene. ¿Por qué? Porque dicen es folclore. No nos llaman arte, es folclore. Entonces, eso se tiene que romper. No permitir que nomás llamen folclore. El arte tiene que florecer. Perdón, pero hay mucho arte público que pues mis respetos, pero hasta ahí creo que es la influencia de muchos. Algunos sí vale la pena, otros honestamente no. México tiene esa calidad de seleccionar, de verdad, de hacer esos concursos para crear una obra pública. Y aquí no, aquí muchas veces son las palancas o son, pues es el ahijado de X, vamos a darle el trabajo. No, tenemos que cambiar tenemos que cambiar mucho, mucho en esta ciudad, honestamente, para que mejore el arte. Desde ahí está el problema. ¿Quiénes nos dirigen? ¿Quiénes nos dan? ¿Ok?
Yeah. So then she tells me, okay, now translate that real small so we could go eat. I mean, basically, she's saying, you know, we need a change. We have so much to learn here in San Antonio, right? But if we maybe expose more of our people, especially our students, to go out and come back in with more experience to see beyond, then maybe we can make those changes, right, at the very end, so that they can have more gratitude in seeing like art. But also, we need to be more realistic. Like, we can't just be saying like, hey, students, this is great work. This is great work, because then they're going to be all like stanked, right? It's just going to reach this certain level, and we're never going to really morph into something better, because we just keep everybody here. And instead of being not, there's a way to be nice, but also critical, and so that we could create better arts.
Alrighty. Yeah. A quick, well, y'all already clapping, but I was going to say a quick round of applause for our incredible panelists for joining us today and their incredible wisdom and their powerful words. And I'll pass it over to Dr. Castillo.
So that was incredible. Very, very inspiring. I mean, we talked earlier about presence, provision. We talked about partnership. And then this is about passion. That was so obvious in all 5 of your conversations and contributions that passion deeply resides in the work of the arts. And so we greatly appreciate each and every one of you for being part of this conversation. You are leading and shaping and co-creating in so many different ways. And Domingo and I have the opportunity to be a part of that and find our way and our voice and our footing in it. And then at the district level, to do our best to be the advocates, to be the entranceway to help cross the threshold of conversation so this does not continue, because we've heard it time and time again, from conversation to action. And so thank you for reminding us the necessity of acting, of moving, of speaking, of creating, of shaping and leading, so that we know how to do the work that needs to be done to transform the Alamo Community Colleges District. You know, you all said so many wonderful things today. We could have had every single one of you on this conversation today. So thank you so much for today. Just a couple I want to give a couple of shout outs to Kaki Brawley, Jack Robbins, Jane King, Nicholas Reason, Rebecca Barnard, Renee Castillo. Thank you for being part of our Zoom today. If we didn't see any questions in the chat, otherwise we would have acknowledged them as well. Shout out to Tosi, y'all. Tosi, Carissa Hernan for the photography, for the Zoom in the background. Shout out to Ken. Thank you so much. This is a round of applause for them, please. You know, we are a team of 2, but then we're a team of 20. You know, some people show up and help every single day, and many of you have. I met Dr. Jones my first National Day at SAC like 4 or 5 years ago. People just show up. Even being present helps. So thank you so much. We have chicken. I don't know what's in the boxes, but on the right-hand side is a chicken parmesan, so it's Italian. If you're a vegetarian, in that black box is vegetarian. And there's cheesecake right behind Crystal, and behind Albert there is bread pudding, tea, and water. Y'all eat it up, enjoy. Thank you. Some round of applause to everybody. We appreciate you so much. Thank you. Sorry? What are we doing? Oh, the survey. QR code, please. The survey. We need your voice to know what we can do better. So please take the survey. It'll be up for a while. So thank you so much. If anybody may have lost something and it was found in the women's restroom, so check your pockets, check your purse. If you're missing something, please come see me. The police just let us know.